This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. 120,000. That's the number the Minister of Health says will need to be vaccinated for herd immunity. The Christian Council slamming the U.S. Embassy over flying the pride flag. And reaction to the second national debate. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up,
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us. Also this morning, we kick off our annual Labor Week series. We are scheduled to have the Minister of Labor, Dion Folks, with us this morning. And that will continue into Morning Blend Business, we hope. That's on the schedule for today. So that's coming up, and Labor Week will continue tomorrow with the heads of the umbrella labor unions. That's all straight ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Minister of Health, Robert Wells, says that 120,000 people would have to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in the Bahamas for the country to reach herd immunity. COVID-related restrictions have been imposed in the country since it was first reported back in March 20, since COVID was, when asked how many people would have to be vaccinated for the Bahamas to reopen. Wells yesterday said, right now, with a population of 382,000, rounded up to about 400,000. That would mean about 60,000 individuals would have at least received their first dose. He says, quote, "I'm not exactly sure where we are in terms of those who have received their second dose. We've gone through the first and second wave of COVID. We would have had some 11,000 Bahamians who would have tested positive, in addition to those who would have been vaccinated. You have a large portion who would have been exposed to the virus who were asymptomatic." He says, "I would say if we vaccinate approximately 120,000 of our population, we would be in good stead." In March, Wells predicted that the country will reach herd immunity by the summer. Days after a UN delegation visited several Abaco shantytowns, Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister said demolition of structures in the farm shantytown will continue until all are gone. His words last week. He says they demolished 23 buildings. He says this week, and the week before they did about 20. He says this week they have 22 marked for demolition. He says there is a manpower challenge, though, and that there is a cost involved in this. Although the Men's Administration has signaled that it will end its unemployment assistance program at the end of September, Minister of Social Services Frankie Campbell says the assistance may continue beyond that date if necessary. He described the situation as fluid. Through the program, individuals impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic receive weekly payments from the government through NIB. The program gives additional support to individuals who have already received the legal limit of 13 weeks of unemployment benefit from NIB. It also extends the unemployment assistance program set up to cover those who would not normally qualify for the benefit. And the Bahamas Christian Council slamming the U.S. Embassy in Nassau after it raised the rainbow flag, or the pride flag, over its embassy, charging that it was insensitive to the Bahamas' moral position on homosexuality. A U.S. Embassy spokesperson says the move was done to commemorate the start of LGBTQIA Pride Month, but the council said it supports the right of each Bahamian to determine their own sexual preference and does not believe in the mistreatment of citizens regardless of sexual orientation. The statement said, though, quote, "We do not believe that foreign governments who are guests in our country should leverage their influence to promote lifestyles that are inconsistent with the ideology of our country. The Bahamas is a sovereign democratic nation that determines its own ideals, norms, and laws. We respect the right of each nation to promote their beliefs in their own countries. We see the position of the United States Embassy as overreaching and insensitive to the moral and ideological position of this country regarding the lifestyle of homosexuality." Overseas, the largest warship in the Iranian Navy catching fire and sinking today in the Gulf of Oman under unclear circumstances. Semi-official news agencies reporting that this morning. The Fars and Tasnim news agencies said efforts failed to save the support warship Karg, named after the island that serves as the main oil terminal for Iran. The blaze began around 2:25 a.m. and firefighters tried to contain it. The vessel sank near the Iranian port of Jask, some 790 miles southeast of Tehran on the Gulf of Oman, near the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow mouth of the Persian Gulf. Photos circulating on Iranian social media of sailors wearing life jackets evacuating the vessel as a fire churned behind them. State TV and semi-official news agencies referred to the 679-foot Karg as a training ship. One news agency published video of thick black smoke rising from the ship early today. Satellite photos from Planet Labs Inc., analyzed by the Associated Press, showed the Karg off to the west of Jask yesterday. Satellites from the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration that track fires from space detected a blaze at the site of the Jask that started just before the time of the reported fire. In sports from the NBA, quite a night in the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets beating the Portland Trailblazers 147-140 in double overtime. Damian Lillard scored 55 points, but that wasn't enough for his Blazers to overcome the Nuggets. Also from last night, the LA Lakers falling to the Phoenix Suns 115-85. The Suns taking a 3-2 lead in their playoff series. And from the Olympics, will the postponed Tokyo Olympics open despite rising opposition and the pandemic? The answer, almost certainly yes. Senior International Olympic Committee member Richard Pound, emphatic in an interview with a British newspaper. Pound telling the Evening Standard, quote, barring Armageddon that we can't see or anticipate, these things are a go. Tokyo is still under a COVID-19 state of emergency, but the IOC Vice President John Coates has said the Games will open on July 23rd, state of emergency or no state of emergency. As an exclamation point, Australia's softball team, the first major group of athletes from abroad to set up an Olympic base in Japan, arrived in Tokyo yesterday. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, surface trough combined with a moist, unstable air mass interacting with a mid to upper level low will maintain rainy weather conditions across the islands over the next few days. Boaters should be alert due to the threat of water spouts. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to the threat of rip currents along East Coast beaches. And residents in low-lying and flood-prone areas should be alert during heavy and prolonged rainfall events today. For all areas, we are looking at cloudy to overcast, warm, and windy conditions with scattered showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft caution is in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas, and a small craft advisory in effect for the southeastern islands. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts in the northwest and central Bahamas, 15 to 25 knots in the southeast Bahamas, seas 4 to 7 feet in the northwest and central islands, but 5 to 8 feet in the southeastern Bahamas. Right now in Nassau, it is about 77 degrees under fair skies. We are seeing temperatures near 74 in Freeport. Look for highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have an extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we are discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, to what do I owe the pleasure? In studio. Haven't seen you for this year?
Is that the case? I don't think that's the case.
Okay. It's been at least a month. More than a month.
More than a month.
Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
I really have guests in the studio now. Thanks to the pandemic, it's become a very lonely job.
But, I'm almost fully vaccinated, so
Well, look at you. I'm proud of you. Second dose didn't...
next week. My second dose.
Okay, so then you might still... okay. We're wishing you all the best. We know that you
Thank you.
have lots of strong reactions to things. But yeah, we've got our hands... We're praying for you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Good to have you again. Pam is here. That's my only friend. But yeah. But that's great stuff. Good to see you. All right, so we have a lot to get to this morning. You can join the conversation as well. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Email us morningblend@nasgar.com, or you can text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Coming up this morning, more weather and traffic. And as we said, we're kicking off Labor Week today. 2 days this year, and we're scheduled to have the Minister of Labor, Dion Folks, with us this morning, and we're looking forward to that conversation. A lot to talk to him about. Yeah. All right. Right now, though, let's get into what's in the news. And in the news, we're going to get to that debate from last night in just a bit. We'll talk about that. And we're going to talk about what the Christian Council is saying about what we talked about on the show yesterday with Daniel Durazo from the U.S. Embassy. We'll get to that, too. But the big headline in the Nassau Guardian today, 120,000 must get vaccine for herd immunity. That's according to the Minister of Health, Reverend Wells. He's making some new predictions. For more on this, take a listen to what he said yesterday while he was getting his second dose. This report from our Berthany McDermott.
Health Minister Reverend Wells estimates that 120,000 Bahamians need to be vaccinated for the country to reach herd immunity. Half that number has already received the first shot of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine.
I would say if we can vaccinate probably about 120,000 of our population, we would be in good stead. That's my number. I'm not the health expert, but just given sitting down and talking to other health experts, the thinking is if we can get probably around about 120,000 persons vaccinated, we would be in good stead as a nation.
Wells said health officials took into account the fact that the country has already gotten past the first two waves of infections and over 11,000 Bahamians have been diagnosed with the virus.
I believe that given the fact that we've gone through the first and second wave of COVID, we would have had some 11,000 Bahamians who would have tested positive, in addition to those who have been vaccinated. And you have a large portion who would have been exposed to the virus, who was asymptomatic, who showed no signs, so they would have not been tested.
International health experts estimate that herd immunity can be achieved once 80% of a population is exposed to COVID-19 or vaccinated. The health minister's comments came minutes after he received his second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine at Bahamas Convention Center.
I am happy that I am now added to the number of Bahamians who've taken it upon themselves to be responsible in regards to just making sure that we're able to be vaccinated to reduce the likelihood of me being able to transmit the disease or even to catch COVID and be put in a very compromised position. The more of us who become vaccinated, the better it is for this country. It gives us the opportunity to open our society.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay. 120,000.
Yeah.
We're a long way off from that. And we've got a lot of people who are resisting the vaccine. Very
Still.
proud about it, saying they're not going to do it. I saw another news organization yesterday. They say the Prime Minister's done a PSA encouraging people to get vaccinated.
I feel like there's tons of PSAs the government's doing.
Yeah, about that?
Yeah, well, videos and just like print stuff to try and convince people to get
Right.
vaccinated.
Right. Is it working? What else will need to be done to get people to do it?
Well, the private sector's starting there.
You think that's going to be
Run
what
up
it
to
is?
get people to vaccinate. We just see Atlantis saying, look, come September, you're paying for your own test.
But is that coercion? Is that as opposed to just getting the information out?
Whatever
so people,
works.
Whatever works.
Whatever works at this point.
We know in the U.S. some states are taking to bribery lotteries. And that definitely got an uptick there. But what else will be needed to get people to do this? There's so many people, and I can imagine this morning we'll hear from them as well, people who have so much to say about it. That came up last night during the debate as well, all the conspiracy theories.
I'm sure that didn't help.
Right, exactly. When you hear people vying for the leadership saying those things, that doesn't encourage many people at all.
And you have people vying for leadership saying they have 1 million vials of something that cures COVID-19.
Lime juice.
Whatever it is.
No, that was, we'll get to that. That was extremely, I wanted to say clownish, but disturbing. Disturbing might be the better word.
I like
for the
clownish.
disturb- You like clownish?
Clownish works.
Okay. That was the best word that came to mind. But this is what is going to be needed for herd immunity. In fact, is that number too low, actually? But let's hear from you. He's giving his reasons why. He's rounding up to 400,000. And
Wasn't there a general percentage given for herd immunity by one of those international
80
organizations?
sticks out?
80 something,
80%?
yeah. It sticks out to me too.
Right, and that wouldn't be.
That wouldn't be 80.
No. So
I joked
the
yesterday
new math.
when I saw the number that's the privileged herd.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
It must be the privileged
The
herd.
120,000 that we care about.
Yeah,
That's not what Drew was saying? That's not what Drew was saying,
I don't
Chester?
really care about.
Care about it's too strong.
It's too strong. It's too
that
strong.
that we're cool with.
Okay.
Okay.
Or who may generally kind of mix with each other in a certain setting.
If they carry on, we'll be fine.
Correct.
Okay.
Maybe.
So that's a better way to put it.
It was a joke, though. It was a joke I made.
I'm sure.
Because I thought the number was a bit low, too. But,
Wow. Okay, so what do you make of it, folks? What do you make of it? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. I know you're going to want to say, oh, the vaccine's horrible. We know.
But
you don't want to. We don't really need to hear that from you today. But what do you make of what the minister is saying? That's what we want to talk
To
about.
be fair, he did also mention that according to his best calculations, there have been 11,000 people who had COVID. So the suggestion is that they have antibodies. There are people who were asymptomatic carriers. We don't know what that number is. They may have antibodies as well. So they would be lumped into the 120,000.
Or would they be?
I'm sorry, they would be
tacked
added
on
to the
yes.
120,000.
So that might be why.
So that might be.
Yes.
So,
So
we'll
120
never know what the asymptomatic number is. So
120,000 plus all those other people.
Right.
That might take us well over half at least.
Maybe. I guess that was the suggestion.
Yes. Hey. Wow. Okay. But then for how long with people who only had the virus? And that's been the issue, although we wonder about that with the vaccine too.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. Again, you can give us a call, tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Chester.
Morning.
Morning, my blessed Bahamas. Dwight, I will make one or two comments today. First of all, I pray to God for the nation, and I pray to God to keep me healthy. And I think I am going to get vaccinated, because, I need to travel to the U.S. in person to do some business. I have to go if I want to travel. But, I want to give kudos to the Christian country president, because I really didn't have no faith in the people. I'm proud of him. I'll try to find him. I'll try and get his number and shake his hand. See, these are the kind of people we need in this country. He need to go a step further with these Canadian banks and insurance companies. We have to make people off. See, these things need to stop. These are the kind of people that we need in power. and positioned to run our country and look out for the Bahamas and our people. And I give them kudos. You know what I mean? We are a sovereign nation, and we don't allow certain lifestyles in our country. The Americans need to stop. You know what I mean? These so-called first world countries need to stop. You know, Dwight, you know something?
What you say? You don't allow certain lifestyles in the country? Is that what you said?
Yeah, but that funny flag up there in the embassy. We don't do that in the States. That's wrong. They know the position of our small country. It triggers off a lot of emotion, a lot of hate. You know what I mean? We'll never do certain things, nobody country. You understand what I'm saying? Right on, one more thing I would say, how much would it cost me to sponsor a show for an hour and a half on Sunday, man?
All right,
how much it cost me for the whole year?
Call me back. Call me back off air, and then we can talk. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Okay. Let's see. Let's read some of you. Okay, all these are about the embassy, so I guess that's what you want to talk about. Let's get to this one message here about the Minister of Health. 120,000 only in New Providence, He can't be meeting the entire population of the Bahamas. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. All right, so let's. You can continue to message us about that if you want. As we said, we'd like to know what more can be done to encourage people to do this. Do we have to get more extreme? Is Chester right that the business community seems like it's well on its way to doing what will be necessary? And the more, especially when it comes to travel, more countries that are saying these things, more airlines and cruise ships that are saying these things, that will be the impetus there.
Yeah, it could be.
So while not, again, it's people we're saying from the beginning, while not mandatory, it'll be very hard for you to function without it. It's going to be like a passport in the Bahamas, apparently.
It is.
Even though you're not traveling, you're going to need one for some reason.
I mean, it's still easy to get into the U.S., but everywhere else is, some people require PCR tests. Who wants to keep going through that? Who wants to keep paying for them?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take that one? Yeah, let's do that. Let's take that call, and then we'll move on. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Chester.
Good morning.
The minister is an engineer, so I would think that he's an astute mathematician. Correct?
Okay. Well, let's hope.
He's engineering numbers.
Unless he's alluding to what we've been thinking about for quite some time, the actual numbers of those that are infected are much higher than that's being reported.
Right.
So unless he's alluding that the numbers are actually 5 times to what has actually been reported. Or he could be thinking in regards to what the texter said. 120,000 is just under Providence.
Oh.
Because that is definitely not 80%.
Right.
Not even close.
Definitely not.
So it's something to be worried about. If the minister is saying something like that, he's obviously saying from the standpoint that the numbers are actually way higher than what's been reported.
Okay. Yep. Making great points. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. So again, you can continue to message us about that. So let's talk about the Christian Council and what they had to say. If you listened to the show yesterday, you heard the announcement from the U.S. Embassy that the Biden administration, this is an initiative of theirs, and that they were going to be flying the gay pride flag at embassies and even residences all over the world, not just the Bahamas, all over the world, including countries that have much more severe, harsh, militant stances against homosexuality and alternative lifestyles. But this definitely did raise some eyebrows, quite a interesting reaction from some of you on Facebook and on Twitter to this yesterday. All right, so throughout the show yesterday, when we had Daniel Durazo on, from the Public Relations Officer with the U.S. Embassy here, people were asking, hey, what's the Christian Council say about this? Which, very interesting. I find that fascinating because when the Christian Council speaks out and about marijuana or about carnival, everybody is so quick to say, see why, whatever.
Who y'all is.
Go sit down, go talk about the pastors doing whatever to the little whatevers, in the, right? Those type things. But when it's something that, where is our precious Christian Council? We need to hear from them. Folks, stop the hypocrisy, right? You got to be either team Christian Council all the time or don't be on their team, right? Don't use it when it's convenient for you. Don't treat them like how you treat the Bible. Don't do that. But anyway, okay. So the Christian Council issued a statement on this last night. It says, Bahamas Christian Council supports the right of each Bahamian to determine their own sexual preference and their own destiny, as the Bahamas does not believe in the mistreatment of citizens regardless of their sexual or other orientation. However, we do not believe that foreign governments who are guests in our country should leverage their influence to promote lifestyles that are inconsistent with the ideology of our country. The Bahamas is a sovereign, democratic nation that determines its own ideals, norms, and laws. We respect the right of each nation to promote their beliefs in their own countries. We see the position of the United States Embassy as overreaching and insensitive to the moral and ideological position of this country regarding the lifestyle of homosexuality. The Bahamas believes in the traditional family structure of one man and one woman, hence the decision to hoist and fly the pride flag in a country where moral and Judeo-Christian position is not only evident but prominent, is deeply concerning and could easily be perceived offensive to many of our citizens. If we allow this to occur without challenging it, it opens the door for the United States and other foreign nations to influence our social structure today and then our political structure tomorrow by way of diplomatic bullying. It's been happening. Anyway. We believe that all foreign diplomats should appreciate how offensive it is to attempt to impose their ideology onto other nations. It says unto. U-N-T-O, like the Bible.
Yeah.
Not onto. Okay. As they will never stand for us to do the same in their country. This is a matter of respect and a diplomatic assault upon the consciousness of Bahamian society. We hope the U.S. Embassy would reconsider their bullish agenda of forcing other nations to accept their social experiments, of which they themselves are not united, and use their force and might on noble missions, such as solving world hunger. End release. Okay. There you have it from the Christian Council. Let's get your views on what they're saying. If you were listening again to the show yesterday, the embassy is saying that this is not being done to influence anybody, just to show support. This is not an endorsement. This is not a celebration, really, but it's support for the people in these communities. That's what they were trying to say. And they said it that this was done to spark conversations. And so this is exactly what they want. But is the council right that even though that's their property, that's their sovereign territory, the embassy, they have the right to fly whatever flag they want on their property. But is the council right that this is bullying, pushing their agenda on this country, especially on a very controversial matter that... controversial is the best way I can put that. Okay, let's get your views. Chester, what do you have to say before we go to the calls?
I don't know. I don't see it as bullying. I think it's an interesting concept that you want to fly a flag.
On the embassy's part.
On the embassy's part, yeah. Or the U.S. part.
Yeah.
They could put out a statement saying they support them and call it a day. Flying a flag is interesting.
It is interesting. It definitely is. I noticed people yesterday were saying, "What about the black flag?" And like, what you mean?
You know that would come up.
But what black flag is there?
But there is no. I don't know if there's a black flag. Black Panther flag? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm talking about.
But you knew that would come up, though. You knew that people would say, "Well, the U.S. doesn't take this kind of stance for
other issues."
Yeah.
Yep. Why this one?
To put a whole flag below your nation's flag on a flagpole is
for a whole month.
It says a lot.
Yes,
if you ask me. If you hung it on your gate, okay, that's one thing. But on a flagpole,
okay.
I don't know. That's why I don't know if that's why some people have strong reactions to it, but I don't know.
All right, let's hear your views. 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
And to your guest and to the wider Bahamas.
Yes, good morning.
Dwight, do you believe in Revelation? Have you read the book of Revelation? Let me ask it like that.
I have. I do.
Okay. I foresee, that Revelation, that we're right at the gates of Revelation, man, and the Bible is being fulfilled before our eyes every day. But
Praise the Lord.
I wanna say, Dwight, that I have no problem with persons that choose alternate lifestyle or who want to be homosexual or whatever have you. I have no problem with people like that. I can sit in a restaurant with them. I can have dinner. They're doing their thing. I'm doing my thing. I have cousins who are in that lifestyle. I've had a brother who was in that lifestyle. He has passed on already. God bless his soul. So people, Bahamians has, came a very long way with that. There was one time there was no tolerance for it, but Bahamians have adjusted to the point to where we can live in a country where people have alternate lifestyle and not be bothered by that. But my problem with this thing, Dwight, is that, when people choose to do what they choose to do with their life, it's a personal sin. That's personal to them. That's you're doing what you want to do. That don't have nothing to do with me. That's personal. But when a government tries to pass laws to protect and to make this thing right, then it becomes a national sin. See, God judges people individually for their personal sin. But when a government tries to force something on a country and pass it as a law, then it becomes a national sin.
But that's not what happened here, though. That's not what's happening here at all. They're saying the same thing you said earlier, that, we support your right to choose what you want to do.
Right. I'm coming back to the point of us fast approaching Revelation, because Revelation speaks of this great city, that burned in hours, But I'm saying that when the U.S. try to make this thing law and everything, it is now a national sin. So you're looking at national judgment that is coming on the entire country from God.
Make what law?
Sir?
Make what law?
When they try to make it law that you have a right to be, a homosexual, or you can't touch this one, you can't say nothing about this one. But people doesn't have a problem with people. Why do we need to go to this extent to where we have to highlight it and put a spotlight on it and put the flag on a flagpole to where it is waved like you're rubbing it in people's faces, and it's almost to the point where you're saying, this is law, so there's nothing you can do about it. You understand? So what I'm saying is, it's no longer personal. It's no longer a personal sin. It's becoming a national sin now. So you're looking at national judgment. You're looking at judgment on the entire country. You understand? So, that's my take on it, But like I said, I have no problem with who wants to live their life the way they want to live it. But when you try to make it a national thing, that's a problem for me. Because now you're telling me that I have to take part in whatever your belief is.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Lost me a little way there. But I think they're saying the same thing you've said, right? We also don't have an issue, and that's your right, that's your business, and go do you. I think that's what they're saying.
Right.
Nothing to do with law, nothing to do with anything beyond that. But okay, let's take some more calls. We got a lot of messages coming in. A lot of people have a lot to say about this. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, well, if I know they're talking about the flag, but if that flag was raised at the American Embassy, well, that's basically what the Biden administration represents, and that's technically speaking in the United States. So nothing to do with the Bahamas. So that's the catch on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's fine. Okay, so that's it. So
how many people really?
Okay.
How many people really would have seen that yesterday
if they hadn't made the big announcement?
Yeah.
Well, again, this was intentional. I mean, they said that they wanted to spark conversations. This was highly intentional.
But
I don't know if you can be that casual about it, like that caller, though. I mean, if they have a flag up, abortion, yay. I mean, you're going to be, that's their right to put that up there. I mean, right? I mean, so I don't know if you can be that casual. Like, let's kill all the babies. Wait, what's happening here? What y'all doing? Right? I mean, at some point, you've got to say, this is not appropriate.
Right.
So, okay. Let's go to the...
But it wasn't done at the actual embassy.
Yes.
It was.
Yes. And at Liberty Outlook.
Okay.
The ambassador's residence.
I only saw the picture from the embassy.
Yeah, both
from
places,
Liberty Outlook.
And as we talked about yesterday, they're going to do it in Muslim countries as well. And they're going to do it all over the place. So we'll love to hear what's happening over there.
Fiery answer to that, maybe.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Let's see. That's about the debate. We'll get to that in a moment. Someone says, why is the rainbow flag being flown at the U.S. Embassy and it is not a national flag of a country? What now? Seems rather insulting, as if to say we can do as we wish. And why haven't we heard from the government of the Bahamas concerning this matter yet? Well, is it that important for them to respond to? You actually tuned into the show yesterday. They answered your questions. This one says here, by the way, the Christian Council is doing what they're supposed to do, and I doubt they are flying those flags in Saudi Arabia. Well, we got to find out. They say they are. They say they will. Yeah. But it is there. It would be considered sovereign territory.
Right.
And so, Someone says here, as to the gay flag issue, Bahamians get a life. And they're saying, doing some rough math, 320,000 would be about 80% of 400,000. Yeah. This one says, I think the Christian Council should call for a boycott of the USA. Let's see how far that could go. Oh boy, this is going to cause problems. Just stop fooling yourself. We have as many gay people here as straight people. They don't hide anymore. Yikes. What? No. This one says the U.S. Embassy is pushing their own agenda. How the heck can you bully me to accept what the heck you believe? They are proud, offensive, and hypocritical. When someone comes into your house, they must abide by your rules, yes or no.
I don't get the bullying part.
It's not.
I don't see why people are calling it bullying.
Okay. This one says the Christian Council is really just going down the slippery slope with that argument. This one says here, I'm not one to bash the Christian Council, but that statement starts off tone deaf. People don't determine their own sexual preference. Who would choose a sexual orientation that opens them up to discrimination, hate, and violence? Another one here. I am proud of the Christian Council statement. And this one says, Dwight and Chester, the last time I checked, the embassy is on U.S. property. They can fly whatever flag they like. The Christian Council needs not to pretend that individuals with an alternative lifestyle don't serve in their churches. Has the church forgotten free will? Will they seek to ban alternative lifestyle shows on television? How far do they actually want to go?
Is it about the representation? Because there are places that gay people gather in the country that everybody knows about. Nobody's calling for them to be shut down. Nobody's calling for the place to be burned to the ground. But people know that, and you hear, oh, that's the gay spot. Mm-hmm. Okay. So no, you're not gay, you don't go there. And they leave those people alone, right?
Well, I think that's what some of these Texans
to live
are
their
implying.
lives.
That,
but
to pretend, and we had a caller say that too, that this doesn't exist here.
Right.
It's very foolish.
Right.
And you're not, as you say, you're not doing anything about that, and you're living with it, and you are recognizing, they have rights.
We hear people talk about it, right? And that's the thing. You recognize that they're human beings.
Yeah.
We don't understand the psycho-social issue that is homosexuality all the way to the core. Like nobody does, right? So how do we deal with it? But we certainly don't deal with it in the manner that, say, Muslim countries would deal with it,
right? Or even some others in this region.
Yeah. Well, yes. Even though they've come to accept it much more.
Sure.
But some of them.
Okay.
But we're not screaming. People call and they talk about it, but we're not screaming on the place. Like the caller said, he had a brother and a cousin,
right?
Who were gay. You love them still.
Yeah.
And
this is the very definition of hypocrisy, right?
Yeah.
So you already know, but somebody makes a statement, and it becomes the end of the world. But you have done much more to endorse or encourage or the protection of your family members and their freedom than the embassy ever could.
Yeah. But
And
I guess what I'm saying is
hasn't killed you.
What I'm saying is we understand, our Christian philosophy on the union of two people, right? And what it's supposed to look like. But we don't consider, and I don't think people think that the gay community is trying to impose itself on the heterosexual community, and I don't know. I don't know what they think that is happening, but trying to turn people gay. So while I don't understand putting a flag on a flagpole, I understand that the U.S. and the U.S. Embassy want to let the community know that their concerns are heard and that they have support somewhere. Fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, we hear that churches do it. They support the homosexual community in certain ways, but I don't understand this whole argument that showing the support, even though in a strange way on the flagpole, is bullying a community or a country into this ideal.
Yep.
It just does not make sense.
No, and you don't have to look at it, talk about it.
No.
It doesn't change anything
It
at
doesn't.
all.
Did it change you?
Not a thing.
Because
right?
you saw
So-
the flag on the flagpole?
No, your eyes didn't pop out your head or burn away. Okay. Let's take this call and we'll read a few more messages and we've got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Morning to your co-host as well.
Morning.
In the Bahamas, I think we have more tolerance now than we had. I hear the Christian Council, and they have their own perspective on things. But who would have ever dreamt, according to when how we talk about the gay issue, that and she don't put her gay agenda or whatever down on nobody. She just do what she has to do.
I'm
and she
very
don't have
worried
to
about
be-
where you're going with this.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
You have a talk show host who are now a talk show host,
Uh-huh.
and she don't push her agenda. I mean, Mrs. Green down on anybody. So I think we have more tolerance because I knew in the future, and she has people calling in her show. She have pastors come on as well.
Okay. I don't know why you're bringing that up.
No, I'm
but-
just saying. I'm just
Uh-huh.
saying because we talk about tolerance. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because I knew in the past no one ever dreamt that a person, because how you to carry on, whether you ever have a talk show host doing that lifestyle. I'm just bringing a point. That's what I'm saying. Now she's a talk show host,
Okay.
and persons calling her show. So that's why I'm saying the tolerance level among the Bahamians, because she would not have gotten calls.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Pleasant good morning, Dwight. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning. And to your who's in
That's
studio,
Chester. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Pleasant good morning, Chester.
Yeah, good morning.
Dwight, ultimately, what is a flag? We classified when we teach civics and social studies in school, a symbol, right?
Yes.
As a Bahamian personally, and somebody said I'm talking about apples and oranges, I'm more offended by the present Christopher Columbus's statue in front of Government House or Queen Victoria where the government does our business, to be honest.
Yeah.
That thinking, some of the things that were perpetrated on my ancestors have impacted me directly as a citizen of this country.
I tell you.
So if we're going to have these conversations, let's not be selective. And that's why people are dismissive of it, because we choose the things to pick up when it's time to pick them up that are in our interest as a nation. Thanks for allowing me to contribute, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
But he's kind of right. The thing is, flags and it's a symbol, yes, but flags and flag poles are treated as sacrosanct. anywhere they exist. You know, you let a nation's flag is not supposed to hit the ground. It's not supposed to, you know, touch the dirt. It's not supposed to be tattered or burned or dealt with in any, and that's a fine or even imprisonable thing, right?
You're not supposed to let the sun. Did you say that
Set.
one, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to
Yep.
let the sun go down on it. You know, so that is where I'm confused about the flagpole thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but hey, that's just
okay. A couple more messages before we take a break.
and I think I understand that might be why a part of why there's so much pushback on it.
Yeah. Well, you know, as a previous texter says, perhaps the U.S. is recognizing just the sheer numbers, and that people need to pull the wool out of their eyes or whatever it is, and just recognize what's going on around
I
them.
don't think there's wool. There's just an ideological tug of war over it.
Okay. Here's one. These can't be the same people who preach if you don't stand for something. The bottom line is when you start your statement, I don't have a problem. Clearly you have a problem. Otherwise, you wouldn't have an issue with a country saying they support someone's human rights. If it irks you that much, you indeed have a problem. I don't understand the issue. Why are people feeling bullied because the U.S. shows its support for something people claim not to have an issue with? In fact, if they have no issue, should they also be showing support? No. All right, another one here. Please tell me why hoisting a flag represents or what it means. It speaks very powerfully. Yeah, well, you just spoke about that a bit just now. This one says here, we are not surprised by the embassy. Critical race theory tells us that white people are. Oh my God, no, I can't do it. I can't read that one. Nope, that's insane. That's insane.
Is it insane?
Oh man, wow. Well, anyway, the display of that flag at the U.S. Embassy is outright bullying. The U.S. have been bullying small nations from way back on this. It's just another form of bullyism. Why did they not at least get the general consensus of the Bahamian people before they became so offensive? In my opinion, they just don't care, but that is the U.S. Whatever they say goes. That's why they are imploding from within. Okay, when you start your boycott, texter. This one says, I need to understand what's the issue. Are people saying because the flag was raised, we now have more people with alternative lifestyles? They'll be coming out in droves today, I'm sure. That's what that means.
No.
Oh, no. The U.S. is a morally bankrupt country, morally corrupt country. If they don't look out, they'll go the way of the ancient Romans. Okay.
Or Sodom and Gomorrah, as the caller said before.
Boy, I hope all of our Bahamians get out of there before that happens. This one says, I think people see it as bullying because they are a world superpower and you feel helpless to do anything about it as a sovereign country. Really? What? Someone says, speak for yourself, Dwight. I'm still trying to find my left eye by that McDonald's downtown. Oh, stupid joke. Is it your left eye or your right eye?
Oh,
you get that joke? Yeah, don't worry about it. This one says, I'm not gay, but however, it's interesting how people use the term tolerance to refer to gays. Can you imagine white people using the word tolerance to refer to black people? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Oh, what's this now? Hold on. Okay. This one here. Who doesn't understand how the USA is the biggest bully in world history? You need to go back to school. Imposing their rules upon the world will always be their legacy. If you're an ally, you shouldn't have a problem. The Bahamas has a deep gay culture that's known worldwide. Really?
It's known worldwide?
What? Okay, but we never want to address why the majority of us are vulnerable to that wicked lifestyle.
The majority of us are vulnerable to it?
What is the deep? I don't know if I want to ask. Worldwide. Anyway, if MPs vote their practice rather than their public positioning, gay rights would pass in one day. Oh, no. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, we need to take a break. Let's get that music going as we get ready
Is
for
that
the
Lady
break.
Gaga?
How did you know? Someone says, please stop challenging the audience and give them a chance to voice their opinion. Remember, this is a talk show, not only for the House, but for the open, as long as people be respectful.
So who's being censored?
I don't know. I just need you to make sense when you call in, though. All right, so help me to understand when you speak. This one says, we don't need or want to have any conservation. Do you mean conversation? We want respect for black people in a Christian nation. They're trying to influence our children. Disgraceful. Thank you, Christian Council. Okay. And imagine the Bahamian sentiments, Dwight, when Pride Month is celebrated here. Well, apparently it is being celebrated now. There was a statement from a group that said that they are planning a whole bunch of events for Pride Month, which is June. And so it is here. It is here. This one says here, final text as we go to the break. Why is there a need to have a pride flag? I don't see a heterosexual flag. Just let everyone keep their preferences to themselves and like-minded. I don't see a need to broadcast. Okay. All right, Dexter. Sure. Let's take a break on that note. Yeah.
I know you too well.
Oh, my goodness. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get into that debate from last night. What did you make of that? This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Coronavirus update. Good morning. I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. President Biden meets with West Virginia Republican Senator Shelley Moore Capito at the White House. She is the lead negotiator for the Republicans on a big infrastructure bill. Here's the AP's Jackie Quinn.
The White House reduced the president's initial offering from $2.3 trillion down to $1.7 trillion, which he plans to fund by raising the corporate tax rate. The GOP wants to spend billions less and says no to raising taxes, but would support new consumer fees and using unspent COVID relief funds to pay for the investment. President Biden says no. Tapping the relief funds would burden the middle class, including small business owners, getting virus aid to help deal with the pandemic.
More than 500 people are in quarantine after a coronavirus outbreak in the Norwegian capital, Oslo, tied to traditional celebrations for high school seniors who drive around in buses and drink. I'm Ed Donahue.
7:37 the time for your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic this morning, as usual, Samara Butler Highway, your hot spot this morning. The heavy traffic from Fire Trail all the way up to Tawny Grove Starling Highway. The northbound lanes, heavy this morning. And the roads are wet, so keep that in mind today. Also, Gladstone Road northbound, heavy traffic up to JFK Drive. JFK Drive also backed up a bit, heading towards that roundabout with Gladstone Road. That's westbound there. Blue Hill Road northbound, north of Soldier Road. You can see the heavy traffic in the northbound lanes and towards Independence Drive. And traffic is building further south on Blue Hill near Carmichael Road. Elsewhere, we are seeing the traffic building already on Carmichael westbound out to Coral Harbor Road. And in eastern New Providence, we've got at East-West Highway some traffic as you approach that intersection with Robinson Road and Marathon Road. and along Prince Charles and Robinson Road at the major intersections. You'll be seeing some building traffic there. That's what we're looking at so far. Again, it's wet out there. Be careful. That's your real-time traffic and your morning band traffic alert brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And we've got another check of your weather for today. A surface trough combined with a moist, unstable air mass interacting with a mid to upper level low will maintain rainy weather across the country over the next few days as we head into the Labor Day holiday. Boaters should remain alert due to the threat of water spouts. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents, mainly at East Coast beaches. And residents in low-lying and flood-prone areas should be alert for flooding during heavy and prolonged rainfall events. For today, for all areas, look for cloudy to overcast, warm, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Smallcraft cautions in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. Smallcraft advisory in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Temperatures getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the mid to upper level low pressure area, along with a moist, unstable air mass, will continue to generate unsettled weather across the islands tomorrow. Conditions should start to improve by Friday, Labor Day. So for tomorrow, Thursday, look for partly cloudy to overcast and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Friday, Labor Day, variably cloudy and a bit breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after these messages here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean. Sign up for your CIBC First Caribbean Visa debit card today. With our Visa debit card, you pay no sign-up fee, no annual fee, and no interest. You will use funds directly from your linked checking or savings account to shop locally, online, and internationally. Visit CIBCFCIB.com to learn more today. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage egg and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
After 37 years, Bahamas First is refreshing its look. A small change perhaps, but as the oldest and largest Bahamian property and casualty insurer in the country, we've built a reputation for designing insurance solutions to protect our customers from life's uncertainties. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. And that's not about to change. Experience our new look and a whole new BahamasFirst.com. Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC banking, online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details. Post your pictures with hashtag Atlantis Staycation for winning details.
Meet Jackie. Jackie's a hard worker with a steady income, but she has a personal loan and multiple credit cards to pay off. To keep her account current, Jackie opted for a loan from Fidelity Bank to consolidate her debt into one monthly payment and earn interest on a built-in savings account. Be like Jackie. Call 356-7764 to book a complimentary financial coaching session. Fidelity also offers virtual assistance. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Talking food is a very serious thing. Talking food is a crying shame. Talking food, it will taste your blood. For talking food will leave you lying in the mud. Harry talking food, shimmy looking in the head. He breaks you the bush crying, oh Lord, I got dead. It's my and shot, she come running out the house. Forget she's scared of blood, almost fall on her mouth.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Chester Robards. And we are moving on now to that debate last night, the second in a series of debates organized by the University of the Bahamas and Verizon Media Group. And
I was wondering why we were playing that song.
Oh. What else would we play for that? I want to say, though, we again salute all of the participants. It's not easy, and I think the structure of the debate makes it more difficult. The fact that it was focused on only a couple of issues.
They knew what the issues were.
They knew what the issues were. That's true, but then they're so different. And as we saw a couple of medical doctors up there, and that's fine for the COVID part of the story. The pandemic issues, but it was also about climate change, and that's really
I thought
very
the medical
different.
doctors would come out stronger than everyone
Than they
on
did?
the COVID issue. But I
don't
guess
think they were weaker than
also
other people.
Have to toe the line. Must be a difficult position to be.
Yeah,
in.
you can't go too far from your party.
Yeah.
So it's challenging. It was a challenging thing, but we salute the people who did take part, and again throw eggs at those who didn't. Regardless of how it ended up in the end,
who was
it's
throwing
still,
eggs?
That's what I'm doing.
You're gonna
I'm
throw
throwing
eggs?
rotten eggs at those who didn't take part.
Well, good thing you weren't there last night.
Yeah. Okay. And we want to salute our very own Haj Black, who did a great job, and Dr. Chris Curry, a wonderful friend of Guardian Radio. Always wonderful. But what did you make of it? What did you make of this debate? I have couple issues. This is the second time the PLP has done this. They've not sent candidates.
Oh, right. I actually didn't know that until someone mentioned it afterwards, after the show.
Why is that happening? Why are we doing that? What's the point of this?
It's a safety net.
Is it? This doesn't make any sense. Okay. And then...
to be honest, I was worried that she was a candidate while I was watching it. And I was like, huh?
I think she actually did very well. I think she did very well.
I was confused by people were throwing like remarks at the party, and she'd go,
right,
that's a very good point. You're making a very good statement there. And I was like, huh?
This is Dr. Evans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's being a lady, I guess.
Diplomatic about
right,
it.
Right. But all right, so we want to hear from you. I've got some concerns. And of course, the big story is Kevin King.
Is he the big story?
That was the most memorable thing about it, and it's for all the wrong reasons. And it's just extremely disturbing. We knew it was going to end up being that, but that was we could play any clown music when we go to the break. Ringling Brothers, we could play that when we go to the break because that's all that was.
I can't wait for the clip to come out. Someone's gonna make a meme.
Which
or
part?
Some kind
the
of,
whole thing is memeable.
No, when he pulled out the vial and took a drop
Right.
in his mouth, and
we don't need this. We've had people that nonsense that he said that he's got the cure. For COVID.
Yeah.
We will be COVID free, and that he has it right there. What is this? We've got people who've died. We've got people who are deathly ill. Let's not play around. Come on now.
I think my biggest problem with what the candidates were saying was, I think everybody was kind of, except maybe the PLP candidate, not candidate, but representative, was beating up on the fact that, the government and the governments of the past have racked up huge debts. And, and they're like, when we're in power, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Let's be real about.
And none of them were financial experts, and that's another issue as well.
Well, none of them could essentially state what they would do,
right,
to fix the problem.
Yeah,
because being outside of the know of the Ministry of Finance, you have no idea what you're going to fix or how you're going to fix it.
Exactly.
And a lot of the things that they did bring up, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Where do you think that money coming from?
Right. And also concerning a misunderstanding of some of the issues, right?
Yeah,
they were asked about OBAN, and everybody starts talking about oil drilling.
Well, the question was OBAN and similar, similar projects.
Mm.
So that could be why someone started off with oil drilling.
Sure,
but I see what everybody was saying.
Yeah,
they mentioned OBAN specifically, but then it said other projects, and I'm very surprised because the question came from Rashima Ingram. And I was very surprised that it wasn't about oil drilling.
Right.
But maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's like, I'm tired of beating up on. And OBAN is a non-starter, so I don't even know why.
I'm surprised it came up.
It was even a question.
Although we do need the government to say once and for all, it is done, it's off the table, that was a misstep, and but they haven't come and done that either. And every time you ask, they say it's a non-starter. What does that mean? Or they say something to that effect, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Oh, that's not even on our radar right now. Okay. But if you turn slightly, will it be?
Yeah.
Is it, what's happening? Just say yes or no. Maybe that's a different story. Yeah. So let's get your views on it. I'm sure more of what will stick out to me will come up as you speak. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us also. Props. They say no props after what happened last time. But I don't know if you showing the plans for your
bunker
convention
hurricane
center
bunker.
That would hurricane. Is that a prop? I think that's
well the
more than we've seen from the government.
The gentleman from the Constitution Party had just like proof or information,
and they were told before you got to bring your facts, right? So
Well, I didn't understand
that's
that.
Not a prop.
That's not a prop.
But what Kevin King did with that vial of
very
lime juice, that's a complete and total pile of prop.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Sure, Minister Evans is a part of the PLP team, okay? So
is she running?
She dominated the debate, okay?
Is she running for the?
Yeah. No.
That's what we said, Dave. We said we want. Why are they running candidates in the debates? So that would make more sense to us. That's what we're saying. Be a what? Yeah. Why doesn't the PLP man or woman it up and put in a candidate? How about that? Still doing better than the F&M, though. But still, I mean, right? That's what we're asking. Yeah. Explain it to us. We don't understand why you're not running candidates. That's the point. Everybody else
I wish
done it.
I wish the debate organizers would constantly say at the beginning, noticeably missing is an FNM, and then statewide.
Do they need to say?
I wish they would.
Maybe they should
Because
just have
I wish
an
they would
empty
keep bringing
podium.
it up. I wish they would keep. Yeah, yes, that would be great.
And have the torch like not lit. Just smoke.
Have a torch with a face on it.
Instead of fire, just smoke.
Smoldering,
coming out of it. Yeah,
smoldering
torch. Like, and black. In black there.
Charred.
Put it right in the middle.
Yeah, that's true.
So everyone could see.
Yeah. That's a prop. Can't have those things.
All right, let's. I think we said we're not supposed to be talking to him, right? Anyway, let's take another call and we'll get to your messages. Or should we just stick to the messages? I don't know. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, are you there?
Hey, Dwight.
Hi. Good morning.
Yeah, that's the best comedy show I've watched in a very long time.
Really?
By far.
I was saddened by it. I didn't think it was funny.
With one of our Dave Chappelle shows, it was quite hilarious.
Oh dear.
My issue too is why the PLP sends an individual that's not a candidate. He is always out of water when it came to policy issues.
Yeah.
I would think that Dr. Michael Dow would have been a perfect fit for that endeavor.
Perhaps.
Maybe they didn't want to put someone there because it would have shined a light that they didn't want to be seen in that area.
Okay.
Also, it's like the accident was there because there's a lot of attacks thrown against that missing chair, and the noticeably missing chair, the elephant in the room, and therefore the PLP took the brunt of all those attacks last night. There was quite a sight to behold, to say the least.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I thought the youth-oriented one was funny, but I didn't think that was funny. I was very concerned because I realized that we are in a serious place in terms of ideas and leadership in the country, and it made me very sad, actually.
Well, last night?
Yeah.
I agree. It was
What? Why are you holding your tongue? Now, despite the fact that she's not a candidate, I think she handled herself relatively well, Dr. Evans.
Yeah, I think so.
And I thought Dr. Farquharson from the DNA,
yeah.
was okay.
Agreed.
And
the Constitution.
Right.
Okay.
I was going to say that Dwayne Hyler actually, I thought, probably won the debate.
Yeah, I agree.
There were a few issues, a few things that he said that shouldn't have been said. He went off on the
few
vaccine,
tangents,
and that's going to be right. I don't know if we needed to inject that in there. Pardon the pun. But Dwayne Hyler, I think, perhaps did the best. And Lincoln Bain did better than I thought he would.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, yeah.
I think he was the one I thought was guilty of the knocking the parties for high debts and borrowing all this stuff, and then bringing grandiose ideas of building things and doing things that will cost a bunch of money up.
But those ideas are needed. Those
things
totally
are
desperately
needed.
Yes,
Absolutely.
it will cost a lot of money, and you're right. That will.
But you have to be real about the projects that you are going to bring if you ever win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can't, again, start knocking things for knocking them's sake and then start, well, we're going to take $1 trillion and build shelters and auditoriums.
Yeah.
Where it's coming from.
All right, let's read some of your messages before we break for the news. This one says, the debate, dangerous comedy. It's theater of what ought to be the best of us, and the total opposite seems to be holding true. The things.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm glad they said it that way.
Oh, boy. These things need to be given a serious rethink. A debate should be with candidates vying for leadership or those on similar footing, but all should be candidates. Now, the real leaders can say, see, this is why we don't want to be a part of this. And I'm sure that's I got a lot of that last night. People were saying, see, this is why the FNM don't want to be a part of it. You know?
Or see, this is why you shouldn't have been afraid to come on.
Oh, because you
And
would
face
shine.
it.
Your
Yeah, you
torch
would
would
shine,
shine brightly. Well, it depends on who they sent to, eh? This one says, Dwight, that wasn't a debate last night. That was a debacle of epic proportions. And I don't like how the PLP laid out the good doc to be slaughtered on policy issues. She looked like a fish out of water. It was a disaster. Boy, I tell you. Another one here. How does... Oh, okay, that's a different issue there. This one says, perfect song for the intro of this segment, because that's what a lot of it was. Yeah, boy.
You know, I don't know if it's a chronic us thing, but I find that people, and it may chalk it up to them being nervous, find it hard to string together coherent sentences when they start to answer, especially off the cuff questions. Well, not off the cuff, but unprepared questions, questions they weren't prepared for. Like they start to trip all over their tongues.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the television thing. I don't know.
But actually, I thought some of them were badly prepared for the ones they got the questions for. Like, did you not know this was a question? How did you come here sounding like this?
And it's funny. I did not know that they were talking about COVID-19 and climate change until really close to.
Did you tune in late?
No, no.
Oh, I mean, you went before.
I mean, but the advertising.
Oh no, they've said that for a while. That was going to be.
I missed it.
Yeah. This one says, no matter the situation, it's always a problem what the PLP do, when it comes to you. Who are you talking about? Mr. Chris Curry was on your show outlining the rules. Why didn't you say to him you have a problem with some of the rules? We did. I don't know if you listened to that show. We said that we questioned him. We asked him, why are you doing like this? And he said that he gave his reasons why. We said that. We said, why not ask each person? Why does everybody have to answer the same question? Why not ask one and then allow someone to rebut?
Right.
Ask somebody else a question and allow somebody to rebut. So we can get, so you can get from them something targeted to that person.
Yeah.
So we can learn more about that person. But that person would need to be a candidate for that to work.
Yeah,
and if parties aren't going to be sending candidates, it's not going to make much sense. But we did do that. You need to listen to that show again.
I think they also needed to shut down rebuttals that weren't actual rebuttals.
Right?
Yeah.
Not everybody needs to do that. That's a waste of time. Okay, we're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend on Garnet Radio.
The Bahamas Christian Council has branded the U.S. Embassy's raising of the gay pride flag yesterday an insensitive diplomatic assault, as it argued foreign governments who are guests in our country should not leverage their influence to promote lifestyles that are inconsistent with the ideology of our country. In a press statement issued late last night, the council said it respects the right of each nation to promote their beliefs in their own countries, so it sees the U.S. Embassy's pride flag raising here as overreaching and insensitive to the moral and ideological position of this country regarding the lifestyle of homosexuality. The council explained that it supports the right of each Bahamian to determine their own sexual preference and does not believe in the mistreatment of citizens regardless of their sexual or other orientation. But it added the Bahamas is a sovereign democratic nation that determines its own ideals, norms, and laws and believes in the traditional family structure of one man and one woman. It wrote, flying the pride flag in a country whose moral and Judeo-Christian position is not only evident but prominent is deeply concerning and could easily be perceived as offensive to many of our citizens. It's a move the council said could not go unchallenged, as it believed that would open the door for the United States and other foreign nations to influence our social structure today and then our political structure tomorrow by way of diplomatic bullying. The council called the matter one of respect and expressed hope the embassy will, quote, reconsider its bullish agenda of forcing other nations to accept American social experiments of which they themselves are not united, and instead use their force and might on noble missions such as solving world hunger. Well, one local LGBTQ advocate is welcoming the American support for their cause of more inclusion and visibility in Bahamian society. Kyle Joaquin has that.
The visibility for us, it gives us great joy to see that somebody is listening and somebody understands that the LGBTI citizens of the Bahamas deserve dignity and respect.
Human rights advocate for the LGBTQ community Alexis DeMarco applauding the U.S. Embassy in Nassau for taking the bold step and hoisting the pride flag outside its headquarters. It comes as around the world the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, queer, and questioning community observes Pride Month. In a statement, the U.S. Embassy said, the U.S. government and the U.S. Embassy reaffirmed the human rights and fundamental freedoms of LGBTQI+ persons. Our support for the LGBTQI+ community rests on a simple and fundamental belief that all human beings should be treated with respect and dignity and should be able to live without fear no matter who they are or who they love. DeMarco says this entire month the community will be celebrating with the U.S. Embassy.
They want to hear from us. They want to hear from the LGBTI citizens of the Bahamas. What are your needs? What are your concerns? So we will be inviting our community members to have this dialogue and discussion with the U.S. Embassy as they kick off their Pride Month. So it goes great with our theme, allyship.
And the pride flag will be outside the embassy the entire month. Its statement continued, This is a worldwide effort by the Biden administration. Every U.S. mission has been invited to fly the pride flag or light up their embassies with rainbow colors this month in support of the LGBTQI plus community. DeMarco says it's important that more Bahamians understand the fight and the reason behind Pride Month and what the local community is trying to accomplish.
So what we would like to happen is we'd like to sensitize and continue to sensitize our fight to be included in our Constitution, to be included in our laws and policies where we have no discrimination against race, sex, gender. We want to add sexual orientation and gender identity to that there should be no discrimination. We have it in the Employment Act, and we'd like to see it in the Housing Act. We'd like to see it in the Health Act. We'd like to see it in legislation. We'd like to see it in policy.
The local LGBTQ community has its own set of activities planned for October under this theme.
We are people just like you, creating a more humane Bahamas through visibility, inclusion, allyship, and advancing human rights for LGBTIQA plus people in the Bahamas.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Human Rights Bahamas is hitting back at what it feels were intolerant comments made by Immigration Minister Ellsworth Johnson, who this week accused parents in the farm shantytown of cowardly behavior in using their children to gain sympathy from a UN delegation during a recent tour of that community. The adults of that community were absent while the children were front and center holding placards claiming that they would have nowhere else to go if their homes were demolished by government. Rights Bahamas yesterday defended those optics, saying they placed a human face on the tragedy being caused by government in Abaco. The group added that the children have every right to force authorities to look at their faces and then try to live with the consequences of their actions. The group called Johnson's comments shocking and unbecoming of a one-time human rights advocate. Well, defiantly, Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister says demolition of those unauthorized homes will go on. Jasmine Brown has more.
The challenge is this. Throughout this country, there is an organized effort, a really organized effort to build these shanty towns. This is not coincidental. It's highly organized. You can see by what happened when these children were put in the front of cameras on the weekend. These people are being coached, and they're being taught how to evade the laws of the Bahamas.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works Desmond Bannister described the uphill battle he says the administration continues to face as it seeks to rid the Bahamas of illegal communities. The government started demolition in the farm shantytown in Abaco in April. An average of 20 homes have been demolished in recent weeks.
Last week, we demolished 23 building structures in the farm. The week before that, we did 20. This week, we marked 22 for demolition. And we're going to keep consistently demolishing them until all are gone. And we're going to continue to move on to other areas.
Bannister's comments came 3 days after a UN delegation visited the farm and several other shantytowns on Abaco. During the farm visit, a dozen residents, including children, stood on the side of the road with placards that stated they had nowhere else to live. Minister Johnson condemned the decision by some shantytown residents to use their children to gain the attention of a UN delegation.
Well, where are the adults who wrote those placards? You know, who wrote them? They should come forward. But you take the children, and you put the children out front and you hide in the back. It's like throwing a stone and then a rock and then hiding.
The Abaco shantytown residents also wrote a letter to the UN asking the UN to intervene and stop what they termed senseless, heartless, and illegal action that is being driven by what they feel is xenophobia and discrimination.
Because we say this is how you build, this is how you move, this is how you immigrate or emigrate, this is how you get rid of your refuge. It doesn't mean that I hate you. Don't let people dumb down the discussion like that. It has absolutely, we said, without regard to origin, race, sex, creed, political opinion.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Some 60,000 residents have now gotten their first COVID shot. That's about half of what the health minister estimates is needed to achieve herd immunity in this country. Berthany McDermott explains.
Health Minister Renwood Wells estimates that 120,000 Bahamians need to be vaccinated for the country to reach herd immunity. Half that number has already received the first shot of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine.
I would say if we can vaccinate probably about 120,000 of our population, we would be in good stead. That's my number. I'm not the health expert. just given sitting down and talking to other health experts, the thinking is if we can get probably around about 120,000 persons vaccinated, we would be in good stead as a nation.
Wells said health officials took into account the fact that the country has already gotten past the first 2 waves of infections and over 11,000 Bahamians have been diagnosed with the virus.
I believe that given the fact that we've gone through the first and second wave of COVID, we would have had some 11,000 Bahamians who would have tested positive, in addition to those who have been vaccinated. And you have a large portion who would have been exposed to the virus, who was asymptomatic, who showed no signs, so they would have not been tested.
International health experts estimate that herd immunity can be achieved once 80% of a population is exposed to COVID-19 or vaccinated. The health minister's comments came minutes after he received his second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine at Bahamas Convention Center.
I am happy that I am now added to the number of Bahamians who've taken it upon themselves to be responsible in regards to just making sure that we're able to be vaccinated to reduce the likelihood of me being able to transmit the disease or even to catch COVID and be put in a very compromised position. The more of us who become vaccinated, the better it is for this country. It gives us the opportunity to open our society.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Stay with us, there's more news after the break.
Apex Award Signs and Engraving is excited about this summer's graduation. Celebrate your graduates with high-quality custom graduation signs, available at great low prices. Need custom printing on apparel, promotional merchandise printing, or photo imaging services? No problem. You can get personalized diploma covers, plaques, plates, albums, clocks, pens, pencils, and so much more. Say congratulations to the class of 2021 with signs, hanging banners, and expressing appreciation on social media. Celebrate 2021 graduates with your own custom yard sign, banner, or poster from Apex Award Signs and Engraving, number 128 Mount Royal Avenue, or on Wilton Street, a block north of McCartney's Pharmacy. Open weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays 9 to 1.
Stock and save on your favorites this hurricane season at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Aunt Jemima Pancake Mix, 32-ounce size, $3.99. Rainbow Corned Beef, 12-ounce can, $1.99. Chicken drumsticks, $1.19 per pound. Hillendale eggs, extra large, 1 dozen, $1.89. Best Value Whole Kernel Corn, 15-ounce can, 85 cents. Super Value Winton open Sundays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach open Sundays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
How the exercise going?
Not too good.
What happened?
Well, Mr. Junior make me one treadmill.
Make?
You know how he like tinker. Anyhow, he built this treadmill and he hook it up to one of them clothesline, which you could spin. You know the kind what I mean?
You made the one what look like the upside down umbrella?
That's the one. He figure that since I was working out, I just power up one of them clothesline, so he hook it up direct to the treadmill.
Oh, so whilst you're walking, clothes spinning. Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to you, eh? You know how heavy wet clothes is? But anyhow, I right there struggling to get the treadmill going. Slow. She start to go now. The treadmill going and the clothes spinning. This time now I building up speed. I running now. I running. The clothes spinning fast now.
You're flying now.
Yes, and so was the clothes. You would have thought he had enough sense to screw the thing down, eh?
The clothes going?
I see where they land yet.
So what you gonna do?
Go back to Superwash where I should have gone in the first beginning.
Superwash. They washes your presses and cleans you 24/7.
What is it, Lumpkin? You ever hear about the Fountain of Youth? I say, of course. But you not been there, right? How you know? He said, nah, man. Listen, I got the tile version of the Fountain of Youth for your house. It's called the Luton Poiler Gloss Ceramic. It's 24 by 24. It's white with gray veining. This tile can make your house look 20 years younger. Not only that, say you only want to do a little room, say like a foyer or a 10 by 10. You could buy enough tiles for that for only $239 before what? The Luton Poiler Gloss Ceramic Tile at Pinder Tile.
Brother made you jump off the boat onto Porterski and make a beeline to Sunrise. Tell Miss Wallace them, I need a battery for this, a battery for that, and a battery for this. You got them? She say, man, you joking? I'll put a battery in you too. Major say, you mean you can still energize this old bunny? She say, man, we'll give you one good overall service, lubricate your 21 joules, then jumpstart your lithium battery. Man, you'll be good as new. Major say, well, I didn't know you could do all of that. She say, well, of course I can, because that's the kind of me I am.
Sun Isles Watch and Clock, number 112 Montrose Avenue. Watch and clock sales and repairs for over 40 years.
When I had got prostate cancer, my family didn't know if I was going to live.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Within days, I got an appointment. They presented me with treatment options, and we set up a robotic prostatectomy. When my scans came back, there are no signs of cancer. They don't see you as a number, they see you as a part of the family. I'm going on with my life. That's a real gift.
Call us at Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Serenity Gated Community. Come and see what all the buzz is about surrounding our pre-construction home packages. Already, we have successfully made it possible for multiple families to realize their dream of home ownership. It's all about value building, folks. Home investment is by far the greatest investment one will ever make. So invest with confidence. Give Desiree Mingo a call at 376-0318 today.
Welcome back. Commissioner of Police Paul Rose says he believes investigators have solved the murders of 6 men who were gunned down back in April. He also addressed speculation that police themselves were involved. Jared Higgs has more.
There were those who sought to blame the police. Okay? Nothing hurt me more.
Appearing on a recent episode of Cop Talk, Commissioner Roll once again shot down suggestions that police were involved in that Jerome Avenue shooting that also injured a 2-year-old girl and a 19-year-old woman. The 6 men who were killed had recently been released from police custody. Roll says gang members use the police as a distraction.
You blame the police, so you take the scent off you.
Right.
So if you decide that you
distract.
want to retaliate,
Right.
everybody is believing and blaming the police. And so when you see other murders, they don't, in their mind, it is not linked to them.
Roll also announced an update in the case, saying police believe they know who's responsible for the killing. However, he says he has told investigators not to rush.
So I have the forensic people doing stuff. I have the tech people doing some stuff. And so we were able to put the pieces together with the movement of all of the individual players involved.
But here on Kemp Road, some residents say they feel targeted by the police who have increased their presence in the area since the incident.
Make people treat people like criminals and things around here, and plenty people around here. It's good fellas, man. Like everybody around here is criminal.
Crofton Musgrove is a 21-year-old who does fishing and air conditioning work. He has lived in Kemp Road all his life, and he says the presence of officers is strong day and night. He doesn't think the increased presence always helps, though, and wants to remind the public that there is a lot of good in Kemp Road.
Kemp Road is a good place. It's everybody, if you got teachers, doctors, and lawyers come from here. There ain't no difference, man. Kemp Road is a good place.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
That's going to do it for local news. Stay with us. AP News is next.
When you testify in court, you're expected to tell the truth. Same goes for your insurance application form. If you don't answer every question truthfully, you could be found guilty of misrepresentation. Leaving out just one piece of information on your insurance application can lead to misrepresentation. That means your insurance company could deny your policy or refuse to pay your claim. This message was brought to you by the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, protecting the interests of policyholders.
When does a simple meal become exceptional? You guessed it, when it's made the Fresh Market way. We're talking exquisite cuts of fresh meat, succulent fresh seafood options, the best in fresh produce, and who can forget our exotic spices and herbs? Come on, get ready to shake up your taste buds and let our aisles inspire your inner food genius. Homemade salted caramel ice cream, egg noodle stir fry, time to walk and roll. Slow smoked beef ribs, oh baby! Remember, go fresh and craft delicious with Fresh Market.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And Step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
Give me my pizza right away. Gotta move quick, no time to wait. No long lines inside the place. Little Caesars, I love the taste. Hot and ready. Just come now, you don't have to call, now you don't have to wait. Hot and ready. Large pepperoni, $7.99 every day. Hot and ready. Oh, yeah. Straight out the oven and freshly made. Hot and ready. Little Caesars is hot and ready. Little Caesars is. Get yours now at Oaksfield, Carmichael Road, and now East Street South, Pineapple Plaza.
Pizza, pizza. Don't wait for disaster to strike. This hurricane season, be ready. Protect your home with an affordable and comprehensive home insurance policy from Shield Insurance. You can't control what nature blows your way, but with Shield Insurance, you can rest easy as you ride out the storm. Protect your largest and most valuable investment. Don't take a chance. Put your home in our hands.
Shield Insurance agents and brokers in Nassau, call 356-7202 or Freeport 352-5945.
At Master Technicians, we have what your family traditions need, starting with industry-best refrigerators, ranges, and ovens. We also carry Whirlpool washer and dryers, dishwashers and freezers, leading KitchenAid countertop appliances, blenders, microwaves, juicers, kettles, and KitchenAid stand mixers. We even do free delivery in New Providence or to the boat of your choice. Whether you're doing the laundry, creating new memories in the kitchen, or spending family time in front of the television, Master Technicians Limited, keeping family traditions alive for more than 50 years.
Every day is a great day of savings at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Rainbow Evaporated Milk, large can, 89 cents. IGA Peanut Butter, 18-ounce jar, $2.69. Super Value Alkaline Water, 5-gallon size, $5.19. Whole rotisserie chickens, $7.99 each. Center cut pork chops, $2.59 per pound. Super Value Winton open Sundays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Super Value Cable Beach open Sundays 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
If you're a business owner, get ready because the digital transformation is here. As a business owner, you now face the choice between innovation and extinction, but you don't have to get left behind. Join the click with Cable Bahamas Business Solutions and transform your office to get the competitive advantage. With innovative solutions like our fixed and mobile services, hosted PBX, Bahamas Cloud, and more, you can redefine your business. For more information on how you can join the click, contact the experts at Business Solutions at cablebahamas.com.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Law.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. And now, day 22, it's time for another check of your weather for today. We've got a surface trough combined with a moist, unstable air mass interacting with a mid to upper level low that will maintain rainy weather conditions across the islands over the next few days. Got a lot of warnings for you. Boaters should be alert for water spouts. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along East Coast beaches. And residents in low-lying and flood-prone areas should remain on alert during heavy and prolonged rainfall events. For all areas today, forecast calls for cloudy to overcast conditions, warm and breezy with scattered showers and ice and thunderstorms. Through tonight, showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Small craft caution in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. Small craft advisory in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise, right now it's 78 degrees, light rain and thunder. In New Providence, we are looking at highs getting up to around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the mid to upper level low pressure area, along with a moist unstable air mass will continue to generate unsettled weather across the islands on Thursday. Conditions should start to improve by Friday. So for tomorrow, Thursday, look for partly cloudy to overcast conditions, breezy with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Friday, Labor Day, variably cloudy and a bit breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected over the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check. And 8:24, time for another check of the traffic for today, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, heavy traffic out there on the slick roads, wet roads this morning. We've got Smile Butler Highway, heavy traffic from Fire Trail, well south of Fire Trail, all the way up to Tawny Glen Starling Highway. That's the northbound lanes. Fire Trail backed up a bit there as well, eastbound. Gladstone Road also heavy, northbound, heading towards JFK Drive. Elsewhere, Carmichael Road westbound, heading towards Coral Harbor Road. You're going to see heavy traffic that direction. And then further up, eastbound, as you get closer to Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road's going to be busy from St. Vincent all the way up to Independence Drive, especially north of Soldier Road with the usual traffic there. The northbound lanes heading towards that roundabout with Independence Drive. Independence Drive, mainly eastbound to East Street, also busy, and East Street South looking very congested from south of Robinson Road all the way down to Pinewood Gardens. You're going to be seeing that issue there, mainly between Soldier and East-West Highway, though. And again, East-West Highway roundabout to Robinson Road, mainly the northbound lanes this morning. In eastern New Providence, we've got Eastern Road from San Souci all the way up to Johnson Road, the westbound lane. Heavy traffic there. Heavy on Bernard Road, westbound as well. And westbound on Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections, you'll be seeing major issues there this morning. Marathon Road also busy northbound this morning. So a lot of traffic issues, a lot to deal with this morning. Your patience will be needed, and it is wet, as we said, so keep that in mind this morning. Good luck to you out there. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert.
I'm taking care of business, woman, can't you see? I gotta make it for you, and I gotta make it for me. Oh, sometimes it seems, girl, I'm neglecting you. Oh, I love to spend more time. I got so many things to do. Oh, I got work to do. I got work, babe. I got work to do. I got a job, babe. I got work to do. I got work to do. I got work. Said I got work to do. I got work. Well, I'm out here trying to.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, our annual Labor Week series. Down to 2 days, but hey, it's still Labor Week, and we are very pleased to kick things off with the Minister of Labor, Senator Dion Folks. Mister, it's been a while. Good morning. So great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. I've been trying to talk to you for a while, but glad that you are here this morning. Glad that we can do this.
Thank you.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk to you about, but let's begin with the labor numbers and especially what's happened in light of Atlantis with the layoffs there and what this means going forward. Is this a sign of things to come, despite the optimism that we hear from some of your colleagues, but are we really having some deep-seated issues that we aren't able to handle or get a handle on as yet? What does that say to us? What's happening with Atlantis?
Well, you know, Dwight, this has been an unprecedented times as far as the economy is concerned. At the beginning of the pandemic, we had a significant amount of employees who were furloughed. And we estimated at the time that the unemployment rate might have gone as high as 40%. That was in March of last year. Since the reopening of the economy, a significant amount of the persons who were on furlough have now returned to their jobs. We do not know exactly what the percentage is, but it could be anywhere from 20% in terms of the reduction. So we are very hopeful that this positive trend, will continue, and more and more employees will return to work as the economy continues to open and as tourists begin to come back to our shores.
So you believe that this Atlantis is a fluke, that this is not going to be reflective of what we're likely to see over the next few months?
It is very difficult to say at this time. I have as Minister of Labor, I have no indication from other employers in the country, in Nassau and Grand Bahama or in the Family Islands, that there are any massive layoffs anticipated. I am, and the government is very hopeful that we'll be able to maintain the employment levels that we have now, and there won't be any further entrenchment.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, just wanted to ask you, Mr. Folks, good morning. Were you involved in the government's idea about giving the concessions to businesses for hiring, and they seem confident that they could create a number of jobs? Is that something that you looked at in terms of numbers?
But the Ministry of Labor was not involved with that directly. That was an initiative that was organized and implemented by the Ministry of Finance, which was very successful. We had the estimates that 14,000 jobs were preserved by the $40 million in tax concessions that were given. In this budget season, we have another allocation of several $1 million in terms of tax concessions that we are hopeful that will create some 2,500 new jobs.
Right, but you didn't have a hand in kind of putting that together.
No, that was organized by the Ministry of Finance.
Right.
On their tax section.
Mm-hmm. One more question about Atlantis. I know last year there was a lot of talk about it, and now with the redundancies here, people were saying that the government should have just allowed for this to happen last year when folks were agitating for it. Do you think this was the right course of action, that this has happened in the right time, and again, explain to us why not last year and what difference this has made?
Well, the last time there was a pandemic was about 100 years ago, around 1918, 1919. There were no precedent. A lot of things have changed since that time. There was no precedent for the consequences of a pandemic in our time. So the government had to be very proactive and very creative in terms of preserving lives and livelihoods. And I think that led by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet, I thought that we did an excellent job. One of the big issues in terms of the ability of the employer to be able to meet severance obligations on a mass scale, that is something that is new to us. We had an experience after Dorian, both in Grand Bahama and in Marsh Harbor in particular, where because of Dorian, businesses just closed. And there were a significant amount of the employees that were affected. We advised the employers at the time that if they were going to close their businesses, they had to pay out severance pay to all of the employees. A lot of them were not in the position financially to meet that obligation. So we encourage them to sit down with their employees and to discuss any type of arrangement that was possible. A lot of them did, and I thought that what happened both in Freeport and in Marsh Harbor, that was a successful model. Now, with respect to the larger companies here in New Providence, we did not know how long the pandemic was going to last, so we did not know what the effect on the business community would be. So that is why we made that decision at that time.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the numbers. You mentioned it a bit there. What are we looking at now? And maybe based on island by island, if you can give us any indication as to what we're seeing, especially you mentioned Dorian with Grand Bahama and Abaco, what things are looking like there. And when will we have a more accurate picture as to the labor numbers in the country?
So we will not have a definitive position. Most of the figures and percentages that are being thrown out now is basically estimates and guesswork until the Department of Statistics do a survey. Hopefully that would be soon. I think they are now gearing up to do a survey. But until a survey is actually conducted, we really cannot say definitively. I know in Abaco and in Grand Bahama, there was a significant decrease in the employment level because of Hurricane Dorian, and followed by the pandemic that made matters worse. Things are coming back both in Abaco and in Grand Bahama. Businesses are being rebuilt, and people are being reemployed. With respect to some of the other family islands, for example, in Bimini and in Exuma, and certain parts of Eleuthera, especially in North Eleuthera, things are booming. The economy are booming. There's a lot of visitors. There's a lot of tourists coming in, and we're getting reports that things are really doing well in some family islands. I was speaking to the Minister of Tourism yesterday, and he was very hopeful about what's going on here in Nassau, especially what happened over the Memorial holiday weekend, which just passed. The hotels saw a significant increase in their room occupancy. So we are very hopeful generally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Given the employment situation in the country, Mr. Folks, just wondering, is the government going to take a more heavy-handed approach to companies wanting to bring in foreigners to work?
We only allow, in terms of issuance of labor certificates and work permits, to foreigners where Bahamians are not available to meet the requirement of the job description. Now, there are certain exceptions to that rule. For example, when we sign a heads of agreement with some of the larger companies that want to do development throughout the Bahamas, the general rule that we have is that it has to be a minimum of 80% Bahamian workforce. We call it the 80-20 equation. And that is something that we instituted at the beginning of our administration, and we have stuck with that. We have Mr. Elza Johnson, the Minister of Immigration, down to the department, Mr. John Pinder and myself, we've been very strict in terms of issuance of labor certificates and work permits. We want to ensure that Bahamians get the first choice at all jobs in the Bahamas, with that one exception, where the heads of agreement calls for a certain percentage of foreign participation.
All right, so that brings us to this issue, and you were instrumental in this, in the survey in shanty towns. We've been talking about this over the last few weeks about what happens here and what are the requirements of someone who brings in somebody on a work permit. Are they supposed to be responsible for providing housing for the person they're bringing in? Tell us about the law. What does it require?
The law says that the person who is sponsoring, who's sponsoring the applicant, has to ensure that the applicant has adequate housing and that has adequate provisions in terms of their livelihood. That is something that has been in the law for many decades. Generally, what happens is once a work permit is issued, it is incumbent upon the employer to ensure that those conditions are met. But some of the challenges that we have is for those immigrants who come in the country who do not have status. That is where it is difficult to regulate that aspect of it. The immigration department, I think, does an excellent job. As you know, we have many islands to regulate and to monitor, but I think that they do an excellent job. There are a lot of challenges in immigration, and as countries to the south of us, as their economies worsen, we tend to have a greater push of migrants to the Bahamas.
Yeah. But we do have a lot of people who claim they are here legitimately, who claim they are here on work permits, who seem to find themselves in shanty towns. So does your department, or is it the Ministry of Immigration, that follows up on the employer to ensure that they are providing adequate housing for the employee?
So that's an issue that immigration will have to address. I can consult with. I'm not sure exactly what the answers to that question.
Oh. All right. We're going to get back to the work permit issue in a bit. But I want to ask you about, again, back to the numbers. We know what happens in June. We've got a lot of people graduating high school. We've got a lot of people returning from college abroad. And we have so many people who aren't working right now. Are we looking at a perfect storm this summer? What are we expecting to happen here?
Well, as I said earlier, we are very hopeful that the tourism, all aspects of tourism, will improve. As you know, the cruise lines, the largest cruise line, Carnival, has made an announcement that they are going to recommence their visits to the Bahamas. RCL and all the other cruise lines are in the process of recommencing their visits either this month or in July. So that will add to the tourism factor. We are also very hopeful that all of the other hotels will be in full bloom. Sandals, for example, at Nassau is scheduled to reopen in the next several months, and so we're basically doing all that we can to restore the tourism product to what it was before the pandemic. So hopefully jobs will be available. And I would like to encourage listeners who are unemployed to register with our public employment services down at the Department of Labor. You can do it all online. There are businesses now every day that approach us for new hires. So there are people who are hiring.
Yeah.
Outside of the tourism industry, where do you see employment growth?
Well, one of the industries that's doing extremely well now is the construction industry. You can look around Nassau as you drive around Nassau. You can see the construction projects that are ongoing. But
Okay. Let's take a break. We're gonna be right back. We lost Mr. Folks there. We'll connect with him. Give us a second. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
After 37 years, Bahamas First is refreshing its look. A small change perhaps, but as the oldest and largest Bahamian property and casualty insurer in the country, we've built a reputation for designing insurance solutions to protect our customers from life's uncertainties. We equip you for the future so that you can recover stronger. And that's not about to change. Experience our new look and a whole new BahamasFirst.com. Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years with new ways to bank better. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future with new products and services and investment in the community, youth, and education initiatives. We are here to help you grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-how team is here to help you zero in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best. Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean and enjoy peace of mind when you pair your Visa debit or credit card with online banking and the mobile app. Simply freeze your card if lost or stolen to block any unwanted transactions. It's that easy and secure. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details. Post your pictures with hashtag Atlantis Staycation for winning details.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I'm taking care of business, woman, can't you see? I gotta make it for you, and I gotta make it for me. Oh, sometimes it seems, girl, I'm neglecting you. Well, I love to spend more time. I got so many things to do. Oh, I got work to do. I got work, babe. I got work to do. I got a job, babe. I got work to do. I got work to do. I got work. Said I got work to do. I got work. Well, I'm out here trying to.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. It is Labor Week, and it's our Labor Week series. We are talking with Minister of Labor, Dion Folks. Minister, I accidentally cut you off earlier. I'm so sorry, but glad to have you back. You were talking about the other opportunities here. You were mentioning construction before the break and some of the other sectors that are showing some potential. If you could get back into that train of thought, that'd be wonderful.
But Dwight, what I can do, Dwight, is maybe go over some of the specific projects, like for example, at the Point, there's some 500 permanent jobs that will become available there very, very shortly. Bahama, as you know, developing their new sporting and their new water park. They call Bahama Bay. That will employ some 700 new employees. The Wind Group, the project opposite the office of the Prime Minister on West Bay Street, that will employ 250 permanent jobs. There's also the Paradise Island Basin project, which is now under construction. That will also take on about 200. I think their estimates were 250 Bahamian workers. I haven't gotten the figure from the development at the port, from the port group. They are estimating that the total employment at the port, at the new port of Nassau, would be some 700, but they haven't been able to tell me in terms of how many of them are new and how many of them are existing jobs. But I would think that you're looking at least maybe anywhere from 200 to 300 new jobs at the port. So there are various projects and there are various job opportunities here in Nassau for unemployed Bahamians.
What are the worrying sectors you're seeing? I don't know. I don't think like financial services is growing in terms of employment. We see we're losing some people, banks as well. Anything worrying out there?
Yeah, I haven't received any indication as Minister of Labor. As you know, the law requires that the Minister of Labor must be notified in terms of any redundancies. I haven't received recently any I think the last notification I received was about several months ago, maybe 3-4 months ago, where I think two or three persons were laid off in one of the private banks. But I have not received any indication recently. So we are very optimistic about the financial services sector in terms of maintaining the employment level.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we notice in your list, it's tourism, and of course it is our number one industry. But some people, as you know, last year, especially with the pandemic, everything shut down. We're very concerned that we have put most of our eggs in that tourism basket. Are we not seeing any other areas that are showing some potential. I know that we've been talking about some IT-related industries. Nothing like that at this time.
One of the areas that we are concentrating on is agriculture and fisheries in terms of expanding the agriculture and fisheries opportunities. Minister Michael Pintard has been doing an excellent job in terms of providing funding and also know-how to Bahamians who are now in the industry and Bahamians who are getting into the various industries. So we feel good about the expansion of both agriculture and fisheries. As you mentioned, in terms of the IT sector, we have an initiative in Grand Bahama, which before the pandemic was doing very well, and that is something that we're going to refocus on in terms of building up Grand Bahama as an IT hub, in terms of making opportunities available for Bahamians.
Mm-hmm. We spoke with BTVI last week about the courses they're offering, and that's mainly on the tertiary level, I guess. But are we seeing this in schools where we are preparing students for opportunities in IT and other sectors?
Yeah, they have added down at BTVI. There's been some additions to their curriculum to include some IT classes. Also at UB, there's also been some changes in terms of concentration on IT.
All right. What other sectors are causing you concern? As Chester's asking, any other issues that you would like to see some improvement in, especially as we head into Labor Day, matters that are getting your attention?
My as Minister of Labor, my major concern is the tourism sector, and we have been working very closely with all the stakeholders. Including the trade union movement. I'm in constant dialogue with the hotel union, in terms of developments with respect to their membership. But that is really the primary focus of the government at this time, is to get the economy back on track, by getting us back to the point where we were experiencing exponential growth in tourism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something interesting came out of our discussion with BTVI. They're doing a study on what employers are saying post COVID, but it keeps coming up about skills, the job skills, and the lack thereof of the potential hires here. And people just not ready in some of the basic things like being able to read and write and count, that remaining a major issue. Well, what's being done about that?
We have a very aggressive program down to the National Training Agency that also falls under my ministry. That addresses exactly the issue that you're talking about, which is the development and training in soft skills, in terms of computer, in terms of English skills, in terms of math, and it is extremely successful. We have hundreds of persons that pass through the NTC every year, and we have a good employment rate for those. The last cohort that we had, I think, was over 200 persons, and over 60% of them were able to get jobs after graduation. There are a lot of private sector institutions that also concentrate on just the basic skills. so that we can ensure that Bahamians are fully equipped to take advantage of job opportunities.
Do some of those programs need to be mandatory in high school? Because we're getting this
Yes.
text. It seems so. This text here says, I hired somebody last year, got 500 resumes, but most could clearly barely spell or write an email properly. And we're hearing this a lot. So can we incorporate that into junior or even earlier, junior high school programs?
Yeah, the Ministry of Education have several programs where they're trying to add to the education in terms of those persons who might have fallen short in terms of both English and math. It has been a problem that we have had for a very long time. I remember when I was Minister of Education, there were several things that we looked at that time, and every subsequent Minister of Education. We have put in programs to try to address that issue. There's this big issue about social promotion and just moving persons from one grade to another without having to meet the basic requirements. That is something that has been with us. That at some time we, as a country and as an educational system, that we have to address.
There are apparently tons of jobs available in the cruise industry coming up as they reopen. And I know the training agency was doing some work with Royal Caribbean. Is anything else being done with other cruise lines? Are they looking to the Bahamas for hires?
Yeah, that we have an ongoing relationship with RCCL, and they have taken on close to 112, I think, Bahamians so far. And they are the goal is to get 250 Bahamians working on their cruise lines. We also started a relationship with Carnival Cruise, where we're following the same template that we did with RCCL. They interviewed 50 Bahamians recently for placement on their cruise ships. So we are very hopeful that more Bahamians will take advantage of working on cruise ships. There was a big reluctance among Bahamians to explore cruise ship opportunities. I don't know whether, we have one of the most beautiful and wonderful countries in the world, and Bahamians like to stay home. To leave home and to work on a cruise ship has been a big psychological challenge for a lot of us. But I see that is now changing with the younger persons in the job market now. So that's a very good sign. We have the LGM Maritime Academy, which is doing an excellent job in terms of training Bahamians. The government started a subsidy of $250,000 a year to that to the academy, the Maritime Academy, to ensure that we can offer more scholarships to Bahamians to be trained in the maritime field.
All right, Minister, we got to take a break. I hope you can stick around for us for a few more minutes. We're going to take a quick break for news headlines, and then we'll come back to you. We have a lot more questions for you, Minister Dion, folks. This is our Labor Week series here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is the Guardian News Network update on the hour. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlene Ferguson. Accusing the U.S. Embassy in Nassau of diplomatic bullying, the Bahamas Christian Council says the embassy's gay pride flag raising here yesterday was overreaching and insensitive to the moral position of this country regarding the lifestyle of homosexuality. In a statement last night, the council said while it supports the right of each Bahamian to determine their own sexual preference, it feels the Bahamas believes in the traditional family structure of one man and one woman, and that foreign governments who are guests in our country should not leverage their influence to promote lifestyles that are inconsistent with the ideology of our country.
It expressed concern that allowing the incident to go unchallenged would open the door for the United States and other foreign nations to influence our social structure today and then our political structure tomorrow by way of diplomatic bullying. June is Pride Month in the United States. The American Embassy said on its website that by flying the Pride flag, it hoped to highlight the contributions of gay and transgendered people around the world, as well as the challenges they face. In other news, vaccination of prison inmates will have to wait for now, as Health Minister Renward Wall says that government is more focused at the moment with the vaccine rollout on family islands. He explained that if someone in prison should fall ill with COVID, they will have better access to treatment than residents on some family islands. He noted the National Vaccine Committee is still debating when to extend vaccinations to inmates. At last check, more than 60,000 persons in this country had already received their first dose of the COVID vaccine. And government has signed a $5.6 million three-year service agreement with Damen Shipyards to train Marines and officers in vessel maintenance. Defense Force Commodore Raymond King says the move will help the force complete its own repairs, establish a maintenance management system, and recoup the loss of institutional knowledge due to the retirement of skilled Marines. That's what's making headlines at this hour. Stay with us. AP Update is next.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, June 2nd, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Chester Robards with us. We are continuing our discussion from Morning Blend with the Minister of Labor, Dion Folks. It is Labor Week, and our Labor Week series continues. Tomorrow we're going to be talking with labor leaders in the country, but Dion Folks is back with us. Thank you so much for sticking around. We know we don't have you for much longer, but we are very pleased to be talking with you this morning, Minister. All right, so this is getting a lot of attention. A lot of companies coming forward now with vaccine requirements and saying that employees may even face termination if they don't get fully vaccinated. Others saying that you will have to pay for testing on your own if you don't get vaccinated. We had been told that this is not going to be mandatory, but it seems like it's going to be very difficult to function in this country, and especially in terms of employment, if you are not vaccinated. What is the ministry's position on this? What's the government's position on this?
Yeah, first of all, Dwight, we are consulting internally and externally with respect to this matter. there have been several companies that have adopted different positions and have made them known to their employees. The question of forcing somebody to take a vaccine, as you know, the government and the Prime Minister has made a public pronouncement with respect to that taking the vaccine is voluntary. But as you know, employers have a duty and an obligation to ensure that their workplace is safe and that the environment is healthy. Also, employees, those who are unionized and those who are not unionized, also have a duty to ensure that they are also safe and also healthy, not only for the workplace but for themselves and for their loved ones. So these are questions that we are consulting on. This is a new area for us. We are observing what's happening around the world, in some Caribbean countries and in the United States and in other places. There's a question of the contract between the employer and the employee in terms of what that calls for. There are laws that govern the employment laws in the Bahamas that govern the relationship between an employee and an employer that must always be observed. So we are, as a ministry, we have active internal discussions that we're conducting now, and we also consulting externally to ensure that it's fair and that our laws are complied with.
Yep. How soon before you have some answers to that? Because some companies are talking about as soon as June this becoming a requirement, and we still don't have perhaps sufficient vaccines for all of this.
Well, I cannot give a definitive time, but that is something that the government will take a position on. But I'm not in a position this morning to give you a definitive time on it.
Mm-hmm. Chester?
Yeah. Have companies approached you to ask whether or not this is something they could do? Are they coming to you?
No, I have not received any requests from any companies with respect to a procedure or what is permitted and what is not permitted. No, I have made many interventions, either as employees approach the ministry, or as I read something in the press. I've made many calls to many companies to ensure that whatever that they do is fair and it's in compliance with our laws.
So what should an employee do if they are feeling they're being bullied right now and they feel they're being backed up into a corner? What should they be doing?
I think the main thing is to have a discussion with their employees. I had a situation the other day in my ministry. For example, I did a tour of some of the staff, speaking to them one-on-one to find out if they were vaccinated, and there were some of them who were not vaccinated, and I asked them why, and they said that they read some stuff and they saw some stuff on social media, and I went over all of the things that they saw, and I tried to explain to them that the majority of the stuff on social media is really not science-based, and it's not based in fact. So I try my best to disabuse them of that view. The employers have to engage with their employees, with their unions. Employers must sit down with the unions and have a discussion with them to devise the best way in the interest of the employer and the employees to go about this.
Okay. All right. We know earlier you mentioned the work permits and that the policy still is that work permits are only going to be granted if there are no suitable Bahamian candidates to fill a position. But there's still quite a number of work permits out there every year. Can you give us the number as to at this time?
I don't know what the number are in terms of work permit. I think the minister of Immigration might have given a figure, and it wasn't. I don't know what his last budget. But I don't. Dwight, to be honest with you, I really cannot put a figure on it because I really don't have the figure.
All right. So some are saying, we're hearing this quite a bit more recently, that this has become such a lucrative sector for the government that even though those are the requirements, that there's a lot of money to be made from this, and that we're not likely to see much change here or maybe challenge when employers say, I'm going to have to go outside the country to find somebody to fill this post. How do you respond to that?
Oh no, as I said earlier in the first session, that the Bahamians get first preference at jobs in the Bahamas, wherever Bahamian is able and qualified to work. Bahamians get first preference at jobs in the Bahamas. In terms of the consideration for the revenue generated from work permit, that is not a consideration of the government. Our main concern is for Bahamians to be working.
Okay.
I wanted to just quickly go back to. I had a question about the cruise line and the Carnival thing. Is just like RCL, is there a number that you're shooting for with Carnival to get employed?
Yeah, Chester, we are looking at the same number, 250 as a goal. I was very happy to see. I think the Guardian carried the story of the first black female to hold a senior position on a Carnival cruise ship. Is a Bahamian who graduated from our maritime academy. That's a wonderful story that's given impetus to a lot of other Bahamians now being interested. But the goal with all of the cruise lines is to get between 200 to 250. That also includes Disney. Is included in that also.
All right. We're getting a question here. Going back to Atlantis, somebody's asking about this. And I know we heard why this was, but I guess for you to state this, they're asking why the government is allowing Atlantis to pay the employees redundancy pay in installments. We'd heard that this was, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but this was the best they could do with the financial situation that the hotels find themselves in at this time. But let's hear from you. Is there something the government could have done about that?
Yeah, sure. I have been in active discussions with Atlantis over the last month, and with the Bahamas Hotel and Caterer and Allied Workers Union with respect to this redundancy question. The law is very clear that severance must be paid on the date of separation or before the date of separation. Now, if the employer and the employee reach an accommodation in terms of installment payments, that is an arrangement that must be made between the employee and the employer. As I said, that actually happened in Marsh Harbor and in Freeport after Dorian. Now, I since the 31st, I have not gotten any reports in terms of how the settlement packages went. Before the 31st, I had several conversations with the hotel union and with Atlantis to ensure that the law was complied with, and if that requirement was not met, that it has to be a voluntary acceptance of the installment packages that they were proposing. So I will this coming week I will reach out to the union again and also to the hotel to see exactly how things are progressing.
And if they don't volunteer for this, what happens next?
Well, there's a recourse to our courts. There's a recourse to the industrial tribunal, and also the question of a trade dispute can also be filed either by the union or by individuals who are not unionized. Because the hotel union represents, out of the 700, I think 400 plus are in their bargaining unit. So there are about 300 or 200 plus that are not part of the hotel union bargaining unit that must also be protected. So I've also been talking to the hotel to ensure that they are also protected.
We are running out of time with you, Minister, but I want to ask you, you are responsible for quite a few different ministries. I want to ask you really quickly, I don't know when next I'll get a chance to talk to you about transport and this big issue always, the unified bus system. What is happening there? Are we ever going to see that here in New Providence? Where do things stand at this point?
Yeah, the government decided, due to our budgetary constraints, we decided to put a hold on the unified bus system. As soon as the finances allow us to, we will resume that program. It's an excellent program, but I must say that some of the jitney owners have taken some initiatives on their own to make the system better. I know there's one of the routes out in the east. They have put in a system where the buses line up and they leave every 15 minutes so that you don't have a congestion on the street.
Well, sadly, that only lasted about a week. It looks like that's fallen apart now. But there was a trial as well, and I think that was IDB funded. That's also been canceled.
Yeah, no. It has not been canceled. It's been put on hold.
Okay. So, any idea when that would get?
But that is something that we are reviewing. In addition to IDB, there was the Italian government was involved in that also, and that is something that we are now reviewing. But it was also a question of funding. A lot of our programs had to be put on hold because the adequate funding just wasn't there.
We got a question here. Somebody's asking about jet ski operators and what's been happening since the pandemic, tourism coming back, but what's going to be happening with them?
With respect to jet ski operators?
Yes.
I'm not certain, Dwight, but as far as I am aware, I think that they are back in operation.
Okay. All right.
What are they? I'm not. Oh, okay.
Well, we'll check up on that. There's been a lot of concerns about jet skis and hair braiders and whether they are allowed to operate during this time, and it's been unclear. And I think many are wondering what's what, and they do see some out there, but not everybody. So that's been an issue. Okay. The other thing, you're also local government on the Family Islands. It's time for elections. Where do things stand with that?
Well, the emergency orders have delayed or put off the Family Island local elections until after the emergency orders expire. We did not at the beginning of the pandemic. We wanted to reduce the amount of persons who were socializing and coming into contact with each other. So those elections were put on hold until the expiration of the emergency order.
Okay. And so that could be a while. So we'll see. But and local government for New Providence, we know that the government was handed the report.
As you know, a committee was formed that was chaired by Mr. Renard, Senator Enfield. A report was made to cabinet on it. The report, I believe, was tabled in Parliament, both in the House Assembly and in the Senate. And that is the report is now under active consideration of the cabinet.
Has it been put out for the public for consultation? Is that
Yes.
something that's likely to happen?
Yes, the committee did extensive consultation.
All right. So where are we likely to see this anytime soon? What are your views on it? What do you think about local
Well,
government?
it's difficult given how our system operates. It is difficult for me to preempt whatever the cabinet will decide, but it is under consideration by the cabinet.
Do you think it could work? Do you think it would be a beneficial thing?
Well, as I said, it would be very difficult for me to. I don't until the cabinet reaches a decision. I prefer not to comment at this time.
All right. We've held you past your time, but if you have a special labor message out there for all the workers in the country, what say you, Minister Folks?
Yeah, as you know, Labor Day is a very special. The entire week, but especially this coming Friday, it's a very special day for workers throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. It's a tribute to workers and also to the forefathers that caused Labor Day to come into being. Persons such as Sarando Fox, whom Labor Day is named in his honor. But this has been a very difficult time. Last year has been very challenging for a lot of workers. I want to comfort them and assure them that things are looking better throughout the country, and in terms of jobs, that the job market is improving, and that the government is very hopeful of a better future for the workers of the Bahamas.
Okay. Labor Minister Senator Dion Folks, thank you so much for talking with us. Happy Labor Day to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dwight and Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and be back with more. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. We want to get to more of your questions and comments coming up after the break. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity Bank and consolidate your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Loss Adjusters.
Final look at traffic this morning, and weather again is a factor during the morning commute. Skies are in fact overcast, and areas of the island are having rain, and that slows traffic down a lot. So we still have serious delays going on out there. Gladstone Road and Samalabala Highway among the slowest moving. Congestion's getting out onto the main streets are really serious over there. A similar look, but not as lengthy, is showing up at Carmichael Road and Blue Hill Road intersection. And then there is the Eastern Road, where traffic is really backed up over there, closer to the Fox Hill Road and in a slow-moving line on getting out of there. Elsewhere, we're seeing really active streets across the island. Traffic is constant, bumper to bumper in a lot of places. Wolford already busy and slow, near bumper to bumper look over there. Bernard Road busy in both directions, near bumper to bumper look there as well. Along that route, Soldier Road up and down from East Street in the south to Wolf Road in the north. It is busy back and forth along that route there as well. Prince Charles Drive, slow, lots of traffic bungling over there, getting into that Seabreeze traffic light and moving beyond that to get towards Marathon. They're slowing down and minor delays. West Bay Street, the ride is slowed down all the way into the city. Not many major delays going on, just traffic is slowed up for so many of you out there. So it's going to be a late arrival for a lot of people this morning, wherever you're headed. It's a bit more challenging moving about with the weather like this. This National Traffic Report this hour being brought to you by the folks at Dr. Danny Johnson Associates at Foot and Ankle International, who offer the simplest and safest treatment for foot injuries. They're located Deans and at the top of the hill at Port Charlotte. Call them at 322-5402. That's 322-5402 for more info. With your Eye Sky look at traffic in real time, I am VANN.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge, so we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Cash and go. Pay all your bills and cash and go. Send your money from cash and go. Top up your minutes. Cash and go.
Cash and Go now offers business solutions for merchants, a new way of accepting payments and transactions. Sign up today at cashandgobahamas.com.
You can do it at cash and go. Pay all your bills at cash and go. Send your money from cash and go. Top up your minutes. Cash and go. Pay insurance at cash and go. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at cash and go.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Bahamas Health visa purchases in May far exceeded those purchased in April. That's according to Minister of Tourism and Aviation Dionisio de Aguilar, insisting that the Bahamas' tourism product is headed in the right direction. De Aguilar says, though, that while the tourism numbers are trending in the right direction, the COVID-19 numbers are not, and those figures could eventually affect visitor numbers. De Aguilar says that for now he is pleased with the number of visitors coming into the country and hopes for the number of vaccinated Bahamians to increase. De Aguilar says there is a direct correlation between the level of COVID-19 in the Bahamas and the number of people who are willing to visit the country. Read more on his comments in today's Guardian business section. The Family Islands and Grand Bahama contributed a combined $2.48 billion to the Bahamian economy in 2020, with Grand Bahama contributing the most in the amount of $1.43 billion, followed by Eleuthera at $269 million. The data was contained in the Department of Statistics' inaugural report, Advanced Estimates for Gross Domestic Product by Island, 2015 through 2020. That also shows that New Providence's contribution to gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 5% over the past 5 years to settle at $7.422 billion, approximately 75% of 2020's overall GDP of $9.908 billion. The inaugural report represents a marked achievement, according to the Department of Statistics, as it seeks to enhance the provision of economic statistics to assist in both private and public sector decision-making. It says that the data now makes possible a more robust and relevant analysis of the various family island economies while seeking to maintain the confidentiality and integrity of the data. At least 60% of Bahamar's guests are fully vaccinated. That's according to Senior Vice President of Government and External Affairs at Bahamar, Robert Sands. In April, the government dropped COVID-19 testing requirements for fully vaccinated travelers entering the country. Sands says the resort has noticed a trend over the last 2 weeks since the policy was implemented. He said they had a program in place for testing every guest upon arrival, and the testing requirement is only for people who are not fully vaccinated. And they're seeing upwards of 60 to 70% of arriving guests are now fully vaccinated. And British Airways returned to Nassau on Monday, as you recall, after more than 1 year without service. Now Copa Airlines will restart with direct flights from Panama to Nassau this Saturday. Both airlines paused their service to the country last March when the country went into a state of emergency in order to control the spread of COVID-19. Now, as the Bahamas' tourism product begins to strengthen after a bleak 2020, Copa's return, connecting Latin America to the Bahamas, is another step in that direction. Read more on that in today's Guardian Business section as well. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday, your market movers consolidated closing at 246 unchanged. Emira Incorporated closing at 1167 unchanged. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,951.20 unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday morning. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. Chester, still with us? Yeah. All right. So it's Labor Week, and our Labor Week series kicked off today with the Minister of Labor, Dion Folks. He spoke with us just now, and tomorrow we'll continue with labor leaders representing the umbrella unions. A lot to talk to them about. Okay, so let's...
Is Labor Day an oxymoron?
In that
well, we have the day off.
Not everybody, but yeah, I guess. I guess. All right. So hey, after that discussion and with the debate last night, an overwhelming sense of sadness has come over me. I'm feeling very, 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 very depressed, and let's talk about it, folks. Let's talk about what we're hearing there. Okay, so I'm gracious that the minister agreed to talk to us, but we are in a serious state, folks. If you didn't hear that in that interview, so tourism is our only hope, it seems. Still,
and construction.
Yes. Yeah. Construction to build the product, the tourism product. Yeah. Once you're done, pray that there's another hotel doing some expansion or coming online or something. Yeah. Okay. So tourism or construction. We've got all these children coming back here, and a lot of people not working. And but that's where it's at mainly. There are some ads in the paper, but hey, That's scary. And then, of course, as we heard, the other aspects of Minister Folks' ministries, transport and local government, the unified bus system, here we go again, and local government. Hey, if it isn't clear to you that our officials don't really care about local government in New Providence, then okay. What are we doing? What are we doing here? That debate last night, we were talking about that earlier, right? Anybody know what to do around here at all? Anybody have any real idea? Anybody listening to the people with the ideas? What's happening here exactly?
Ideas come through the government. I mean, I guess like bad food, they just pass straight through.
Okay. Let's talk. Let's hear what you have to say. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, that's
Is there? But is it just? Is it not that the things are there, ready to be implemented, and there's just not the wherewithal to implement it?
In which regard are you talking about? What issue are you talking about there?
I don't know, so many things. But you talked about local government.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just something that they need to pay lip service to because it's a question that's popular right now, but it'll hinder some of the power that they now have, so they don't want to do it, but they'll talk about it for forever?
Perhaps.
Is it one of those things?
Perhaps. I mean, that keeps coming up. People keep saying that. But if you feel that way and the power has shifted, well, go to where the power has shifted. Perhaps maybe you shouldn't be in the House of Assembly. Perhaps you shouldn't be in the Senate. Maybe you should be a local government official. Go there then. I mean, what's the issue? What's the problem? Do you want to help the country? Do you want to help communities? I don't understand. But that's a terrible excuse, and people keep saying that. No, the power will be diminished. What will the MP do? Well, then maybe you shouldn't be an MP. Maybe you shouldn't. What's the problem? You don't think that would it be less impressive on your resume if you are the mayor of someplace or on the local government council? Is that an issue? Right? What is the real holdup for the unified bus system? What's really at heart here? Who is not going to be happy here? What's the issue? Why? What's happening? Be honest with us and tell us what's going on. This doesn't make any sense, right?
But again, there are people and forces that I guess seem to overpower sensibilities when it comes to some of these things, and maybe if we're not in the middle of the government fraternity, we just can't understand it from the outside. Like, we can't understand how tied their hands are.
So
and we don't understand. We shouldn't understand because we need to fight against this problem.
Yeah. Well, all that does is make an angry electorate, though. Every 5 years, they get so frustrated with you because you said you were going to do something, and you get in there and you become like the people who were there before, and then we get angry with you and we kick you out, and this just grows. The resentment grows in the place without everybody getting on the same page, right? If you want to say you're trying to protect the local car market, the new car market, that's why you have a sensible bus system so that people are forced to go and buy cars or whatever it is, or you want to get some customs duty revenues. Say it.
Again,
say something.
The problem again, Dwight, is the people that are affected by these things are not the people who are in the privileged few.
Yeah.
And the privileged few run the government. Whether they're in a seat or they're out in society making millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's it really going to hurt? Who's it really going to touch?
Mm-hmm.
And then work your way down from there.
Yeah. You know, if you've got your kids off in school and you're listening to that, I hope you hear they're coming back to work in a hotel. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
How you doing, man?
Hey, we're here.
Good. What I'm concerned today is, as relates to labor, is the
You got to turn down your radio for us,
treatment.
please. Turn down your radio for us.
Okay, sure. I can.
Mm-hmm.
The inhumane treatment, okay, that the Constitution speaks to, that no person shall be subject to. You see, not even in a state of an emergency can this be done, okay? And what is, you know, in my humble opinion, torturous to the workers of the Bahamas, whether you are a self-employed person, in my case, okay, or what I have heard over the years. Today mark 51 years. Thank God for allowing me to see another birthday in this country. Despite what myself, the voting worker of this country, okay, and what is torturous for me is to see the violation, the contraventions and violations, of our fundamental rights being laughed upon and frowned upon and taken for granted, okay, by the very same people who's supposed to be standing up for workers in this country. And furthermore, my labor concerns as a Bahamian in this country has absolutely no voice, especially if I don't stand and speak for myself. When you have an agreement, okay, lawful, legal agreement, the government have it with the hotel have it with business persons who they met doing business on Paradise Island, whether it's the land or the beach. The government, the cabinet, must not allow, including the leader of the opposition.
Okay, you're really just
what
getting
I'm saying,
what's
they
happening.
they must come together, the leader of the opposition and of the Bahamas, okay? The government and the opposition, official opposition, must come together and uphold the principles of the law.
Okay, you're not I just said I was feeling depressed, and I really don't know what you're trying to do to me. Okay, good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, well, yeah.
Hey, this Mark Turnquist here.
Oh, hey, what's happening, Mark? Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's up, man? You know, I call you. I call in reference to why the government is falling short on a lot of what I call projects, is because unfortunately there's not a cohesive national development plan for small businesses in the country, especially the Family Islands. And you know, I was disappointed a couple of years ago when the commercial in the price bill came up before the Small Business Act, which was focused on local, domestic revenues and everything. And a comprehensive plan that focused on small business development always would be on these shortfalls, because things have to be synergized through the Family Islands, especially for the small business development. I can tell the government long time that the Southern Islands, Michael constituency was underserved, because when I deal with them, they always complain about them not being supported. You see, but because it's simple. If you keep on, if one government came in, and this happened from 2007 with the Domestic Investment Board, then we had a plan going on for Small Business Act in 2015. Then it's the National Development Plan that came up last year, or whatever, or a couple of years ago. You know, it was thrown in the garbage and everything. So the government is not continuous when it comes to economic projection, and that's the problem. Although it's supposed to be continuous, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So my recommendations to the government of the day, I was promised the 242, Small Business Association Resource Center was promised the Small Business Act soon, but unfortunately, I hope that it take place.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. Speaking of promises, Chester, this was really shocking to me yesterday. Yesterday, Foya Bahamas followed me on Twitter. It's like, I should follow them back. But okay, so is it getting closer? Is this really? Boy, I tell you. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight and Chester.
Hi. Good morning.
You know,
I'm not going to make me
up.
more depressed today. Oh, you're going to cheer me up? Okay, Graham. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
You know, this country is one of the wealthiest countries in the world, and our labor, because labor's coming up, we should expand on that. But instead, I saw 300 people enter the country and start working in Abaco from a different country while we have unemployment. And I want to take your mind to the 2018 Commercial Enterprise Bill. You need to investigate that. And later this year, the possible signing of the World Trade Organization. What will that do? Well, how will that affect our labor? But, you know, I really called because Chester said something a few moments ago. He broke down the extreme truth. You remember what you said, Chester?
I think so.
Could you repeat that real quick?
Oh, no, I don't know if I can repeat it verbatim.
About the elites?
Basically, what he said was that the people that really control the place are doing well.
Yeah, we know.
And all the rest are not.
They're always doing well, no matter what.
Correct. And so now that Chester, he said that so eloquently, my question to you guys and to everyone listening is what you're going to do about it. I'll wrap up with this. And when I lose my job, it's a depression when you lose your job. And it's a recovery when the government loses their job. That's Ronald Reagan, 1985. You guys have a good day.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can squeeze this call in really quickly before we have to take a break.
Sure. Well, when you call to say that the debate, I was like, you were disappointed. Going forward, I would like to see debate candidates, not people who are not a part of the running in my area or any other area, be debating each other. Because I need to hear from the candidate and hear from their policies. You understand what I'm saying?
Their policies. I mean, this is why we're doing it like this, unfortunately, because of this crazy system we have. Their policies are going to be the policies of the party. Nothing that they think matters will matter at all. And
right, you want
this
a
is with the candidate. So does it matter at all to hear from the candidates? I mean, from candidate versus candidate, right?
It matters because I can't running in my area against other parties' candidate. I need to know what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on now. It's 39 of those. We're gonna do one for everyone. Is that feasible?
Of them was not interested.
No, 39 seats. So
I'm sorry, settled debate yesterday. Majority of them was not my interest, except for one, maybe Lincoln.
And that will be the issue with if you do a constituency debate, right? And for many people, they will not care about it. Like, what does this matter to me? And so you run into an issue there. It's going to be very problematic. Debates are hard in the system that we have. It's going to be very difficult because if you run all of the people who are vying to be or hoping to become the Minister of Health or to become the Minister of Finance or, what does that mean? And that means that you will be trapped, as we always are. You like what that guy who was the Minister of Finance says, but he's with the party you don't necessarily like. That means in your constituency, while they're running the candidate, you're going to have to vote for that person because you think if they win, that guy you heard as the minister would become the Minister of Finance, and you think he'll have the good plan for the country, but you've got a clown as your MP.
Yeah, but the clown has to carry the policy of the party, eh? Because remember now, when the parties, when their policies, when the clown is going to carry that out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't carry that out, I guess you have to make the leader got to lead it, sensible enough to tell them step down.
That'll be what we have now. So if you think it's working, then we can carry on smartly.
It's a good start in heading into the general election, though.
Yes, debates are wonderful. Debates in general are wonderful. Debates here, We're working on it, eh? We're working on it. All right, let's take a break. We're getting some great text messages. We'll get to those after the break. You're listening to Morning Blend Business, brought to you in part by Cash and Go. Need cash now? Then choose Cash and Go. In 48 hours or less, you could have up to $5,000 and Cash and Go, cash now. Apply in our app or at cashandgobahamas.com. This is Morning Blend Business. Stay with us.
I'm taking care of business, woman, can't you see? I gotta make it for you, and I gotta make it for me. Oh, sometimes it seems, girl, I'm neglecting you.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Cash and Go, pay all your bills and Cash and Go. Send your money from Cash and Go. Top up your minutes, Cash and Go.
Cash and Go now offers business solutions for merchants, payments, and transacting with clients. Sign up today at cashandgobahamas.com.
You can do it at Cash and Go. Pay all your bills at Cash and Go. Send your money from Cash and Go. Top up your minutes, Cash and Go. Pay insurance at Cash and Go. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's at Cash and Go.
And time for a final check of your weather for today. This could be a serious weather day with severe weather warnings. We just had one for portions of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, the Berry Islands, North Exuma. That expired at 9:15, but expect more today. We're dealing with a lot. We've got a surface trough combined with a moist, unstable air mass mid to upper level low. That's going to maintain rainy weather conditions across the islands over the next few days. Boaters should be alert for possible water spouts. Beachgoers should exercise caution due to rip currents at East Coast beaches, and residents in low-lying and flood-prone areas should remain alert during heavy and prolonged rainfall events. For all areas today, we're looking at cloudy to overcast, warm, and breezy conditions with scattered showers and thunderstorms through tonight. Showers may be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. For boaters, small craft caution in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. Small craft advisory in effect for the southeast Bahamas. Temperature-wise today, look for highs around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that mid to upper level low pressure area, along with a moist, unstable air mass, will continue to generate unsettled weather across the islands tomorrow. Conditions should improve by Labor Day Friday. So for tomorrow, Thursday, partly cloudy to overcast and breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Friday, variably cloudy and a bit breezy with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Tropical cyclone formation not expected in the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check. Back with Morning Blend Business, our final few minutes here of the show. As we said, tomorrow we can continue our Labor Week series. We've got the labor union heads with us tomorrow morning and a lot to talk to them about. And we'll get some details about how Labor Day will be celebrated. This is the second one now in this pandemic state of emergency. What are the plans for that? That's tomorrow. Continuing with your text messages, we've been talking about our interview with Minister of Labor Dion Fowlkes and also about that debate last night. This texter echoing what I've been saying, someone saying here, Dwight, to be honest with you, after the debate last night and the interview with Minister Fowlkes this morning, I need to leave the Bahamas country. This Bahamas is in a serious state, and we seem to have no one who cares for the majority of the Bahamian people. The Bahamian people should no longer vote for doctors and lawyers because they seem to have absolutely no answers and no direction. Based on how the PLP and FNM have the country, can I seek political persecution from another country? Well, I mean, or you could stay here and be persecuted. Anyone. Someone says, great show as usual. If you are depressed, visit Cheaters Lounge. Okay. It's not Cheaters. It's Cheetahs, right? But
I'm sorry. Oh,
but it
really?
is Cheaters. Huh? No, Anyway, they will. I can't read the rest of the text.
Wow.
Oh boy. Okay, that's a text. That's an ad. We need to send an ad, send some a bill to that establishment. This one says.
Which one?
Because all right, they said cheaters. All right. This one here. The short answer is this is me asking about if you are afraid of the power being shifted away from you as an MP with a strong local government. So join the local government system. Maybe you'd be better suited there. But this person says the short answer is no. Dwight Mayors, how dare you steal the sunshine and sunrise from my good MP? The leaders and their aspirants are uninspiring. Boy, oh boy. This person says, Dwight, having debates is useless, and I have always thought that the more senior debaters last night weren't much better than the youth debaters, and that says it all. I actually think the youth debate might have been there was more meat.
Certainly more exciting.
More exciting, and there was more meat, and we were saying there wasn't much, but there was more. Anyway.
And drama.
And drama. It had all the things you need for great entertainment and a better understanding of what some of the parties stood for. But last night, anyway, it's all just trust us to do what's best for you, and we are not like the others. Yet no one has any real plans for solutions. Yeah, people are very good at pointing out the problems and where you messed up, but with the real ideas, we've got some issues with that. Or people maybe they're saving it. They're saving it for when you put me in. I can't say too much until you put me in. Perhaps that's how it works. Yeah.
Which is the emphasis of the debate.
Yeah. Okay, this one says here, the government always sides with the private employers in allowing them to disenfranchise Bahamian workers contrary to the labor laws. Here, the Minister of Labor talked about the tribunal knowing that it takes a long time to get a judgment. Yeah. And we know there's been talk of trying to reform that and fix that. We hope that comes to be very soon. And what is this one here? This one says here, that was not a real debate. It was more like a comedy hour. This is why I will support the government in the next election, because shifting every 5 years and expecting major accomplishments, I don't want to restart under the PLP to go through the same thing. We are also not a realistic people. We expect perfect governments with imperfect people, and lots of these issues go beyond governments. God forbid. Okay, so what does that mean, though? A lot of these issues go beyond governments. You mean the administration in power at the time? Yeah, okay. I'm not too sure. There are solutions to most of the issues we face, but folks don't seem to want to listen. All right. Decentralization was going to go a long way to encouraging some new sectors in our country, right? And empowering the islands to chart their own course is very crucial to this country surviving. If everything here is Nassau, this place is going to sink. It's going
and
to
for
sink.
those family island people to get to use the money that they earn.
Right. We have to think bigger than that. We have to. And it's been said over and over and over again. We've got to wake up from that. And our discussion with the Grand Bahama Chamber yesterday revealed that the potential there is great. We have to determine what it is that we want Grand Bahama to be, and all of the islands. And when I say we, I don't mean the central government in Nassau, right? Those people on those islands need to do that. What do you see yourself doing, being, standing out from the rest of the Bahamas and the rest of the world? We have to think like that, and we're not doing it. Anyway, Chester, I got to find something to pick up my mood. Parents brought, what is that, pepper?
There you go.
Oh, hog plum. Okay. So what is it called? Spanish. Okay. You think that's going to do it? Yes. Make me feel better? Okay. Saren's brought me some plum. We'll see.
Nice.
Chester, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great Labor Day. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned for Aaron Green and On the Clock coming up next.